gentlemen, boys and girls, happy birthday. It's Tuesday evening. How are you guys doing today?
Whose birthday is it?
I don't know. Like, I was saying happy, then birthday was the first thing that came after my mind, because it's what HHN fans do on a big week for HHN.
Is it a big week?
It is, because today's my birthday.
No, it's not.
No, it's not my birthday. Anyways, how are you guys doing this Tuesday evening, April the 2nd? I'm excited for tonight's live stream, guys.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for tonight's live stream. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us in. Thank you guys for being here. We might have a long one on our hands tonight. We'll see. If Stephanie gets tired, she may go with the little guy and do stuff. I might stay here a little bit later, and we might potentially be having a live stream after party over on Discord. So a lot of things to look forward to. We don't know. I'm still waiting to see if I get the green light. My phone is blowing up at the moment. I'm just waiting to see if I get the green light on such thing. We might do a live stream after party. So, but oh yeah, I see somebody in the chat saying 3 hours, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
If you are not in the Discord and you would like to be, there is a link for it in the description of this video. It should work. If it doesn't work, just let us know.
Yeah, just let us know. And then Steph can grab the link and drop it in there as well. Yeah, holy smokes. Yeah, live stream as long as Dune too. This might be a live stream as long as the entirety of Dune. What was our last live stream? March? Like mid-March. It's actually been a while since we've had a live stream.
It has been a little while.
It's been quite some time. And we've been busy. We've been going at it. If you guys know, tonight's live stream, we're really going to focus on the changes that we want for the event. And this is something I really want to talk with you guys about. And I have a list of things. I have a list of demands written in the palm of my hand. Okay, anyways. you don't know about that life. That was Brian before Steph life.
I don't even know what that is.
It's all right. So we got a list of things that we want to talk about. Some of the changes that we would love to see Halloween Horror Nights make moving into the future, whether that's this year or future years. As you guys know, our latest 3 videos that we posted this past week was part of a 3-part series for changes that we want to see at the event. And, you know, we had things in there like the website, enhancing the queue lines, like a food lanyard, you know, things like that. And there's more too that we didn't put in the videos that we want to talk about, and we'd love to discuss with you guys in live time. I want to talk with you guys and see some things you guys would love to see. So hold on in the chat. Don't put it up yet. We'll get to that part. And then we also have some live updates within Universal and Halloween Horror Nights itself. You know, we got the Fast and Furious tent is now up. We actually have pictures that are running around the internet of the Fast and Furious tent being up and visible in guest view. Construction is getting ready to happen in the, I want to call it the back lot. It's not really the back lot, but the new sprung tents that we're going to be getting. Those are getting ready to be constructed and going vertical at some point soon. I know they're clearing out the lot. And the 5 and Dime has had a little bit of a physical appearance change, as you will. So we got a lot to talk about. And, hey, Stephanie, is that leading up to an announcement potentially? There's no way they just change the 5 and Dime look of things and just say, no, it's just the new look.
No, it's got to be an announcement.
Right? It has to be.
Has to be.
It's leading up, and everybody's talking about it. All things are leading up to it. So we're definitely going to be getting into that. And to start us off, Isaac Forcia, I hope I'm saying your name right. Welcome to the Fright Club Legends. A legend of the Fright Club just joined us. Great to have you on board.
Yay, welcome.
Yeah, and everybody who's here, man, if you guys are watching us right now live, we have over 110 people watching. Just, hey, hit the like button, Hit the like button. Helps us out, I guess. That's what all the people on YouTube say. Algorithm, all that kind of stuff. I don't really care for the algorithm, but hey.
I did just drop the Discord link in the chat, so.
Oh, I see it now, yeah.
You can use that one.
Yeah, so if you guys are seeing the live chat right now, that Discord link is there if you guys want to join the Discord. So if we do a live stream after party, once, if you guys don't know what a live stream after party is, we haven't done one in a while, but what we did last year is after a live stream, go in Discord, hold a phone call with all our Fright Club peeps, and we basically just chat about maybe some things that we don't say in the live stream. We keep it, hush hush. What happens in the Fright Club stays in the Fright Club. So we might do something like that.
It's a way for you guys to be able to talk as well.
Yeah, speak your own mind.
On the live streams you can type, but on the Discord, you can actually do what?
If you get the chance to, if I'm not talking too much myself.
Yeah, that's true.
If you talk over me,
I'm
then
normally not there much because Brian's just chatting away.
Also, because you're taking care of the baby.
That is true.
She's taking care of Hondo usually after that. So hydration. We also we got another new Fright Club member that just joined. Heather Hart, welcome to the Fright Club beginners. Welcome aboard. And Shanna Bell.
Oh,
10 months in the Fright Club. Do you want to read it? Are you reading it?
No, go ahead.
Reading?
Go ahead.
Oh, Shanna said, I want to just pull this up. So excited for live stream, and I'm here for the long haul tonight. Let's go. We're gonna have a long night. I'm planning to be here for a while, so you don't have to be here all night.
Brian has a lot of ideas.
We got a lot to talk about, and I hope Universal's okay with me kind of getting on them for some things, but we'll see. I'll hear about it later.
What I was going to say, I didn't realize you were reading a super chat. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
But Isaac, the one that you had mentioned, is the one that we met at the theaters.
No
recently.
way. Oh yeah, that's right. Isaac. Yeah. Yes. How was the movie, by the way?
What were we saying? Ghostbusters?
It was Ghostbusters. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How the Ghostbusters go? Yeah, we get to run into Isaac at AMC after Ghostbusters, which was cool. Got a photo with him.
We thought it was fine. Did we talk about that yet?
No, but we will.
Okay.
We will. Should we? Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about it today.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? I mean, we have something saved and special.
I guess we could just wait.
We'll wait. Maybe not everybody's seen it yet.
Okay.
Well,
we can wait.
We got something special for that.
It was a movie.
I also have to bring these people up. If you guys don't know, Miles, Menus, and Mysteries. You guys haven't heard them, right? Of course not. They're brand freaking new, and they're coming up. M3 is like what we like to call them here. Good buddy of ours, Miles, Menus, and Mysteries. They are on YouTube. Check them out. Brand new channel. I know he's going to hate me for it, but dropped a $100 bomb. I mean, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to dance for you? Do you want me to get up and like dance or something for this kind of money? Miles, Menus, and Mysteries with a $100 donation saying, before we get into the spooky stuff question, I've heard a rumor. Is it true? Steph knows every word from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Only the songs. Not like every word of the movie.
Can you give us
I do know all the songs.
Can you give us a taste real quick?
Absolutely not.
You have to.
No.
You have to.
No.
I'm not going to dance. You're going to have to sing.
No.
Something about the golden geese egg.
That's my favorite song.
Say,
That's what I'll give you.
One liner.
No.
What?
No.
Oh, come on.
That's my favorite song from the Gene Wilder.
How does it go?
No, I'm not singing it. No, we're moving on.
Gooses.
Anyway, you guys should check out their channel, Miles, Menus, and Mystery, because they do like completely different from what we do. They travel around and they're gonna like, check out different places that have histories of like cryptids and like missing people and alien abductions and things like that. And then they check out like the food in that area, which is really cool.
Yeah, like they check out the local towns with like those stories and all. So it's really neat. I know they have their first episode coming up pretty soon, actually.
Yeah.
So give them a check. Give them a check there. Shout out to you guys. Don't ever come in here and drop another $100 donation again. I'm gonna be really upset. But anyways, let's get in. We're 14 minutes in, 125 people. Love seeing you guys all. Thank you so much for being here on this Tuesday. What do you think you're doing?
It is. We just started.
We just started. Hold up. Hondo got to go lay down. You're an hour early for your appearance. Remember, an hour and 18 minutes. That's your mark. Go lay down. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We're having a technical backstage issue with a character here. Hang on, buddy. Just hang on. We got a long night. Anyways, all right. So, thank you guys for being here for this Tuesday evening. We got a lot to discuss. I want to talk about the those past 3 videos that we talked about and that we did with the changes that we want to see come to the event. We'll pretty much start on there. We'll kind of bounce around with some of the ideas and everything, and then I think maybe we trickle on over to towards the end of the stream. We'll go ahead and talk about the 5 and dime. What could the announcement be? What we're thinking, speculation-wise, time-wise. What is the announcement? Things like that. So let's get ready to rumble. Anyways,
So we're just talking about those things tonight. We're not going to be diving into like IPs and things like that. Or are we?
I mean, I don't see why we need to be limited today.
Okay. All right.
I don't see why we don't just like go all out. What do you guys think? Hey, I'm going for, who knows, maybe a record.
Well, then we should probably get into it.
If we're trying to beat a record, I don't think getting into it is the way to go. Because what is our record? Like 3.5 minutes or
Goodbye.
3.5 minutes? We're done. 3.5 hours, I think, is around our record. But yeah, let's dive in. Let's dive in. So the first video, I think we had 4. We talked about 4 ideas, things that we wanted to see changes with HHN. 2 of them we elaborated more into videos, and I think there was still. I'm gonna pull up. Actually, can you pull it up on your drive? Is that possible, or is that going to change your screen? I'd rather you pull it up on your side because I feel like my side is not gonna work. He was their friend. Yeah, so the first video we had 4 ideas. 2 of them we elaborated more in videos. The 2 that we elaborated on was the return of the website. We want the website. Then the next one that we did was enhancing the queue lines. And if you guys remember in that first video, I said the last idea that we bring up is like the most important, which was enhancing the queue line. I personally have been pushing for this website for a long time, and I want the website, but at the end of the day, like I said, I'm a big fan of Halloween Horror Nights. I'm always a fan of Halloween Horror Nights, loyal through thick and thin and all that kind of stuff. I want for every fan that goes to the event, when they leave the event, for them to say that was the coolest thing they've ever done. That is like my ultimate goal, is to make sure that the event can, I don't really have much say in what the event does, but like I want everybody to be excited. I feel like my objective here with Stephanie and Hondo is to provide a level of hype and entertainment, excitement to get you guys excited for the event. And hopefully that carries on into what Horror Nights brings to the table at the event. So when you guys leave, you feel fulfilled. So I feel like the most important part was enhancing the queue lines, because that's something everybody is impacted on, versus where the website, it won't necessarily be everybody. There's still a percentage that won't access the website, but the queue lines, a vast majority will access the queue lines. So we left that as a video in itself. And I think in that, how many bullet points do we have for just enhancing the queue line?
6.
6. And we only talked about 2 of them in that last video. So there is more to talk about in that segue, I guess you can call it. Yeah. So let's talk about the first one, which is, I think, the first bullet point, which is food. Why not? Let's start with, it's dinner time. It might be a little late for some people, but it's not. No, what is the first one?
Projectors. Up early.
You need to go up
And
one
then
bullet
food.
point. You need to go to the first bullet point. Food, lanyard, gift card.
Well, then it's not 6. It's more than that. Oh, this is not talking about queue lines.
No, I'm talking about just all of them.
Oh,
We're going to
okay.
the first one.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, gift card, food. You should be interested in this one. It's about food, and you love food. I love food. We're foodies. I know we got a lot of foodies in the chat as well, especially around Halloween Horror Nights food. Can you put a poll up real quick for the chat? I want to know, pizza fries or twisted taters? I would love to know, out of those 2 heavyweights, which one are you going to go with? Long night at HHN, pizza fries, twisted taters. Stephanie's going to put a poll up. Everybody get ready to vote on it. But yeah, so HHN, they do not have like a special promo when it comes to food. Mardi Gras, we've had a lanyard in years past, and now we've fast forward to now, we have the gift cards. And the gift cards, it's a good deal. I think it's like what, $120 or something like that. You get $150 or something like that, or
you get whatever, like 20 extra dollars or something,
depending on which tier you pick. And it's worth it, because if you're going to spend the money, it's giving you extra money to spend. And on top of that, you do get your annual pass discount on top of some of the items as well. So it's definitely worth it if you plan to spend that amount anyways.
Right.
From Horror Nights, it's kind of or for Universal in general, it's kind of the perspective of like, well, that's a guaranteed $120 we get, whether they spend it or not. And they're usually more focused on people who are just visiting and stuff, not like the locals and stuff. But when it comes to Halloween Horror Nights, out of those two options, if you were presented, this is a question for you, and you as well, chat, if you guys want to, you know, answer as well. Which one would you go with? Would you go with a lanyard, like the whole punching lanyard, like we talked about in the video, or would you rather go with the gift card promotion?
I like the lanyard. Just personally, it feels more like fun. I don't know. It's like a gift card. I feel like you can buy a gift card for Universal like any time of the year. Like even if it says like Halloween Horror Nights on it, like I don't know. I just feel like it's just a gift card. Whereas like the lanyard, it's almost like a scavenger hunt or like a game to like see how many you can get. And like I know when they used to have the lanyard, we did it a few times. That was for Mardi Gras. We did it a few times, and it was always fun to like, you know, you kind of figure out like how much each dish needs to be in order for it to be worth it. So then like, I don't know, it just makes it more fun. And then you have like a little lanyard, they can like punch it or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, it just, I feel like a gift card, I'm just buying a gift card.
Yeah, yeah. And here's the thing. Like, we talked about it when we were in the creation of that video and we were scripted in, just kind of, when we scripted this video compared to past videos, this is one that we kind of sat down and was like, hey, Stephanie, what do you feel about this? What do you want? And we kind of just had that conversation between each other. Once that conversation finished, then we went to the drawing board and labeled some things out, and then we presented it in a video. As far as the lanyard and the gift card, one thing that I really like about either one, it's like it's another collectible for that year. With the lanyard, you get a whole lanyard and, you know, can have the design on it and stuff. That's a collectible to keep, like memorabilia for that year. It's the same thing as the gift card. So either one you pick, you're going to get the same. However, where the lanyard, in my opinion, triumphs over the gift card is that the lanyard's more interactive than the gift card. Gift card, just like any card here, scan it, boom, okay, pocket it. Where the lanyard, you know, you're wearing it, you're showing it off in a way, and then you go up and you get it like a hole punch, boom, and it's like you go to fulfill that. So it kind of feels like an objective, that it's more hands-on and engaging than what a gift card would be.
I do think the one upside of a gift card is like you can use it on like a bottle of water or something and not have to like sacrifice a whole like punch for it.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That is true.
You could just go buy like those little things that you might want.
You could also just pull out your credit card if you wanted, or cash.
Yeah, but if you're budgeting that much for like all your food and drinks for the night, it would be.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. That's a good point. That is a good point.
But
also, real quick, what is the poll looking like right now?
Pizza fries, 67%.
Wow. So 67% on pizza fries.
Yeah.
By the way, what do you pick on that? Pizza fries or twisted tater?
Pizza fries.
Agreed. Okay, and that ends that conversation. Pizza fries, cool.
Yeah, it's more filling. I feel like the twisted tater is just kind of like, it's like potato chips.
Yeah. Pizza fries. Period. I mean, I would rather have a bad pizza fry than a good twisted tater.
I feel like a bad pizza fry is like cold, and like I don't want that.
I've eaten cold pizza. I love cold pizza, so it's like,
but I know it's like a cold
fry.
Fries.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm gonna stick to it. I would rather have a cold pizza fry or a bad pizza fry over a good twisted tater.
Okay.
Anyways.
Going back to the conversation about the lanyards. Sorry, I
heard that too.
It was like I couldn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, I completely forgot what
Stephanie's
I think
vengeance.
one of the big like upsides to having the lanyard, which you could arguably do this with the gift card too, but it takes more steps, is it would cut down on the lines, the time it takes to go through the lines. Especially we saw last year, the first like weekend of HHN, the lines for food, actually not even just the first weekend, like
I mean,
most nights, The lines for food were crazy.
Most nights for the line, yeah.
And if you have, say, half of those people are just going up, getting a punch, and then walking on,
move along.
It might be a little bit easier. Whereas with like a gift card, you have to swipe it and like potentially, you know, they have to print it out and give it to you and all that stuff. So I don't know. I feel like it might be a little bit quicker if a lot of people have the lanyards.
I agree. I think it would be a faster process. There might be a little more complication depending on how HHN and Universal proceed to use it, whether it's like you can't use it on alcohol or you can't use it on items $15 or more, and then that's where it becomes maybe a hassle between the the guest and the team member, where it might extend the lines.
That's true. That's
just
true.
looking at it from a devil's advocate, but
you just have all of that like very clearly marked out on the lanyard.
Let's do another poll. And here, instead of a poll, I'm gonna just ask the chat spam away here. I'd love to know from what you guys think. Would you guys personally prefer to have a Halloween Horror Nights food and drink lanyard, gift card, or neither? I'd love to know in the chat. Spam away, lanyard, gift card, or neither, depending on your choice. Even 1, 2, or 3 in that order, depending on which one. Love to see what you guys are feeling on that. Because personally, I'm voting lanyard. I think it'd be really neat to have a lanyard. And it's not just like the punch card, but the lanyard as well. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then here in the Brian from Orlando Studios, Fright Club Studios, we'll just put it in the background. Right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Just drape it and just show our trophies of $5,000 of food lanyards we've purchased in the past few years.
It looks like we're getting mostly either lanyard or neither.
Okay. So we got a couple of neithers then.
Yeah. Chris?
Who's Chris?
He said because you know that the lanyard would only be good for certain items and I'd have to buy more anyway. No, it'd be good for any item.
Yeah, like one item. Like let's say
just
one
probably
food
not
item.
Alcohol. I think that they have.
I could rule. I'm okay with them not doing alcohol in it, like non-alcoholic beverages and food items. And maybe if they just wanted just to do food items, I'm fine with that. But like one food item, whether it's a pizza fry, is one punch in the card. You get 10 punches, and let's say it's like $100 to $120. Maybe you even get your annual pass on that lanyard. You know what? How about this? Like it's $125 for the food lanyard. You get 10 punches. On average, that's $12.50. However, if you're an annual pass holder, you get to punch the food card. Or let me start that over. If you're an annual pass holder, you can get a discount on the lanyard itself. Mm-hmm. So when you go to actually purchase a food item, let's say I want the pizza fries, I'm going to use my lanyard. We don't need to check if you're an annual pass holder or whatever. Just click it, move on. You've already got your discount beforehand. And so if it's a 10% discount, that's like $12 off. So it's like basically, $108 for the entire lanyard. If it's $108 for the entire lanyard with the annual pass discount, 125, 120, whatever.
Yeah.
As regular priced, you get 10 items. That's basically looking around $10 to $12 per item.
Yeah.
If that's the case, Universal themselves could even say, hey, majority of people are going to buy this. We can even, and trust me, I hate saying this, we can raise the prices of the food a little bit to match that balance where we have food items that are $12, $13. We also have food items that are $8, $7, where then people can say, I want the pizza fries, which are $8, or let's say $10. And then you can get a burger that's like $13, $14. And to the guest consumer, you're saving money by getting the burger, but then Universal's making money on like the pizza fries or something else to balance that out.
Yeah. And Crystal and Andrew and then Matthew both said they should do it like SeaWorld does for their APs. They have like a special lanyard for annual pass holders that has like an extra punch or an extra 3 punches.
Yeah, that would be really neat. Perks of being a pass holder.
I know that they probably will never do this at HHN. They don't need to. They do not need to sell a lanyard in order to get people to buy the food there. People are going to buy the food there full price, whatever. They don't need an incentive. So they probably won't do this, but that's why these are things that we as guests want to see rather than things that we think are happening, because we know this is probably not happening.
I mean, I can tell you what's happening, but I'm not. So instead, I'm gonna tell you what I want to happen. Cool. Yeah, this is stuff that we would like to see, but I really don't think we're gonna get something like that for Horror Nights, at least soon. Like, I see it benefiting Mardi Gras more, and that's why they have it for Mardi Gras. But as far as Horror Nights come, excuse me, as far as Horror Nights come, people are gonna spend the money. We're in that same boat. How much money do you think we spend at Horror Nights every event? We're talking hundreds on food, just hundreds of dollars just on food. Last year was the cordyceps corn dog for Brian. I think I bought 12 of those bad boys.
I don't know.
Minimum.
I had one and I couldn't finish it.
Yeah, and I finished the rest of it. I had a lot of those. So if they get some good food, they got me, and they got a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, there you go. So that's the first one. Food lanyard. It seems like we had a lot of people go for lanyard, and we had a couple people for neither, but I didn't really see any for gift card. Did you see any gift cards in there? I really. Oh, I did see a gift card. Yeah, if you get the deal like Mardi Gras. Yeah.
Yeah. Should we add up the cost of all of our food that we buy at HHN this year?
If we don't forget, but we could.
I guarantee it won't be accurate to most years because I won't be eating.
Probably not. Yeah.
But that's fine. We can count how much
we'll try.
food Brian eats.
We'll count how much weight Brian gains. That's what we should do.
So
So
should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Let's go to the next one.
So our next section that we had talked about was the queue lines. Do we want to move on to the queue lines or save that?
Let's save the queue lines, because queue line,
Okay.
that's gonna be a big one. The website and the queue line is gonna be the bigger one. What's the other one that we got?
So the next one we have, which we did not talk about in any of our videos,
Yeah,
but
okay.
is one
New
that we had talked about amongst ourselves.
It's a live stream special edition one.
This was adding an additional scare zone. And we've talked about this on the channel on live streams multiple times, but we would love to have that section over by like Transformers and Starbucks, right where they used to have, or they had killer clowns
Is that
as
Fifth,
the scare zone.
Fifth Avenue? Is that what that's called? Considered?
I don't know. I don't know what
Some,
this.
somebody knows like the technical term to it, but you guys know what we're talking about.
But we would love to have that area back as a scare zone, because that area can be a little dead during the event. So we think it, is a great place for a scare zone. And I know that I believe they had issues with it being there because of
The Lagoon show.
the show. But if we don't have a Lagoon show, then there shouldn't be a problem.
I'm really holding out for a Lagoon show this year. I really hope we get a Lagoon show. If they get everything set and ready in time for Horror Nights, I don't see why they can't set up a Lagoon show for Halloween Horror Nights this year. But if it's going to go past Halloween Horror Nights and they're still working on things and stuff, because I know they're in the works of having something for daily operation. If it doesn't work for Horror Nights, then why not put a scare zone there again? Why not give us more? Because when you walk through the front gate, I was realizing this, though, the new setup of Halloween Horror Nights, and this is why last year was called Logistic Nightmare or something we called it. Our theme for last year, something logistics, right?
Yeah.
And logistics and layouts. This year is Fork in the Road, and kind of going back from last year's theme. If you walk in the gates this year, or even last year, technically, instead of going straight through partial of the Oddfellows scare zone, if you just go through the Universal store and out the other end, you can walk Minion Land, take a right after VillainCon, go all the way down by Mel's Transformers. I sound like a Transformer myself.
Good.
Take a left at Transformers, go down that entire street all the way up to San Francisco until you get to a scare zone in the house there. Like the whole section is basically just an empty walkthrough. And there were a couple of nights when Steph and I, between Transformers, I can't say that, Transformers. Anyways,
You can do it.
thank you. I appreciate it. Between Transformers and Mel's, when you're going towards Rip Ride Rocket down that road, there were moments where it just kind of felt quiet and empty. It didn't feel like an HHN night. Nothing looked like HHN to us. And you know, they had the illuminations, little theater lights on and stuff. So it just felt like a normal night at the park. So I'm hoping that like in that area, something gets filled up in a way, at least visual wise. And then of course, when you get over there past Transformers, they put a scare zone. That's at least what you were talking about, is having that scare zone filled. And, and it doesn't have to be anything big, just something small to just kind of fill the area would be nice.
Or bring back the Chainsaw Horde in Springfield.
Well, not or, but
And
getting to that, it's like talking about the other half of the park. We've always wanted something over there, like maybe a scare zone on that side would be really cool. And we used to have the roaming Chainsaw Hordes in Springfield and Krusty Land and that whole Simpsons region. And now we don't get that. We do have a roaming horde, which is fine. I like the roaming hordes, but I always think that having a designated section in the Springfield for a chainsaw gang and all that stuff helps fill that side of the park up a bit more. Because we talked about so many times that if you just look at the Universal map, right down the middle, you have Central Park and San Francisco. You have those two scare zones. After that, getting towards World Expo, Diagon Alley, Simpsons Land, there's nothing else except for the, like, what, 2-3 houses, and then you got the show. That's it.
yeah,
So it would help fill the back end of the park a little bit more and kind of even out the activities for guests throughout the event.
yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even want to ask the chat this because I have a feeling nobody's going to say no.
No,
this,
we don't want more scare zones.
Does anybody not want more scare zones? Does anybody out there think we just have a good amount of scare zones? Silent. I don't even hear anyone talking, so I don't. I take that as a no. I think we're good. I think we're
No
good.
more scare zones
Justin,
at all.
you're banned.
No scare zones.
Can we, Justin? Can you ban yourself, please? After that,
Javier did say, I think this is what your meaning is. You'd rather have better quality and longer houses than another scare zone. Like if you had to choose.
If I had to choose quality over quantity, absolutely. And that's why I choose Halloween Horror Nights every year over any other event that there ever was.
But we would love to have more. We would love for there to really be no areas in the park during HHN where it feels like there's nothing going on.
Dead's the word I would use. Yeah, I'm okay with there being safe spots like the London Diagon area, like that. I'm totally okay with that being a safe spot. There needs to be safe spots. There needs to be. I think the best word to describe it is we need just to have a good balance.
Yeah.
From the park overall, from start to finish, where then you have a scare zone, but then you have a break. It's okay. But that break, it's not like, it feels like a regular night. It's supposed to still have the music, maybe some projections, maybe some decorations. So I feel like putting more Halloween-esque decorations throughout the park that don't really tie into scare zones or anything. They're just more decorations. Like what they do with Mardi Gras. You know, they have that regular Mardi Gras decorations throughout and stuff like that serve no other purpose than being decorations. I would like that to happen because that's more photo ops throughout the park and stuff like that, and it balances that experience out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a question from somebody. Mr. Charles Yates with the 25.
Thank you.
Thank you, by the way. Will Hannibal come this year? Let me ask you this question: which Hannibal? There are multiple Hannibals in history. I need people to be specific with me. But will Hannibal come this year?
We know what you're asking. Hannibal Lecter.
How dare you say that name in this house? Will he come this year? I don't know. I haven't invited him personally. I don't know.
We don't know.
It's speculated for Silence of the Lambs, but it's also speculated for A Quiet Place. Those two are battling. And there's another one that's speculated kind of battling those two as well.
I did see a comment, and I forget who said it, so I apologize, but I did see a comment early in the stream saying, like, how would Silence of the Lambs even work as a house, really? Like, as far as that movie goes, Brian's never seen it, but I have to agree that, like, I just don't know what you would really have in that house. There's not really, like, I don't know, there's not really, like, jump scares that you could have in that house. I mean, you have him, like you have the mask. You have
I was molded by it.
not him. You have like what the other guy's name?
I was born in it.
I forget the other guy's name.
My name is Bane.
Buffalo Bill. But I don't know. I agree. I feel like Silence of the Lambs is such a slow burn, psychological thriller type of movie.
Killer.
Brian.
Bump, bump. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Type of house that I feel like it would be very difficult to make it into an actually scary house. Maybe it would be like creepy, but I don't know.
I have to interrupt.
Go ahead.
We did forget a super chat.
You forgot a super chat.
You did. Melissa, we apologize. That's Stephanie's fault for she's in charge
Sorry,
of that.
I didn't see that. That was
With
my
a
bad.
199. But see, here's the thing. It works out because she said, "Love y'all. We love you."
Thank you.
Even though I don't know you, but we love you. Think no sound houses don't breathe. That's another option that goes involved with the silent house that we're seeing on the spec map.
Yeah.
So that was one of the other ones that I was kind of referring to. Don't breathe.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen.
Surprise.
All three of these films that have been mentioned, I have not seen. So
And I have
don't
seen
know.
all three of them.
Okay, out of all those three, which one do you think is going to happen? Which one do you want to happen?
As far as like what I see as the most like probably Quiet Place. It's just the most recent, and I feel like again, I don't really see it being like an amazing house. Like I can't picture how it would be a house unless it's day one. But I don't remember Don't Breathe like a ton, but I feel like if I had to pick between the three, I guess it would probably be that one. As far as like what I would rather see.
Wait. Don't Breathe?
Yes.
Explain the premise of that movie.
We did this last time, and I can't remember if I was remembering the right movie. Because I always get these two movies mixed up.
Isn't Don't Breathe with the guy? The ex-military?
That guy?
The ex-military guy?
Yes.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
See,
I've lied. I have seen a horror movie.
See, I feel like that, again, like that one, I don't see like...
I don't see it being a
I don't know.
full-fleshed house. I can
Right.
see it being like a Blumhouse situation in Fast and Furious, where it's one of the two sections. I could see that. But
Honestly,
as a full-fleshed house,
all three of those, I'm like...
I personally would rather, out of the three, I would rather have A Quiet Place day one, because I feel like there's more energy from that to showcase from start to finish in a house.
Yeah.
Compared to where the other two, I feel like there's a lot of gaps in the film to really hit on
Yeah.
that you can't extend into a house.
I don't love houses that center around single locations. I feel like it gets a little repetitive. You're not really as like scared by, the fifth room seeing the same things, because like you're now kind of used to that environment. Whereas like when you're walking into a completely new environment, every single room, you're kind of on edge because you're not used to it. And I feel like you over there texting.
No, I'm listening. I'm listening. I
kidding.
agree with you. I agree.
But I feel like single location houses aren't typically my favorite. Didn't really care too much for Black Phone.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you.
Even Happy Death Day. Like I felt like one of the big complaints was that it was just the same room over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what would happen with the original Quiet Place, because it's pretty much one location other than like the beginning. And Don't Breathe. So I don't know. We will see.
Yeah, I agree with you though. You know what? I'm agree with you for this one.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna be on the same page moving forward. We'll see how long that lasts. Yeah. So that we were talking about the scare zones. Kind of going back
Yes.
to that list, scare zones. Going back to the chat, I'd love to know if you guys can pick which one would you rather have. And we'll put it in the chat. Would you guys rather have a scare zone in the Springfield section? Have a permanent scare zone in the Springfield section, whether it's roaming chainsaw hordes or whatever? Or would you rather have it where we had killer clowns last time? Out of those two, I'd like to know. Springfield 1, in the New York section 2. spam that in the chat. I want to see what you guys think as we move on to our next section.
Cool.
Why don't we get into a good one? We talk about
Give us Hondo.
the Hondo.
We
actually
wrote
have
that down.
Yeah, we have that written down. That's an actual bullet point. But Hondo stands for something. It's actually an acronym for something. But I'm not going to tell you guys yet until it's announced.
One of them actually was roaming chainsaw with one stationary chainsaw horde.
We did kind of touch
But
on
we
that a
did
little
touch
bit.
on
Yeah.
that.
Where it's like, I'd love to have that stationary chainsaw horde in Springfield, but also have a roaming horde throughout the park as well. I think that's really important. And not even just like roaming horde, a chainsaw horde, but like maybe roaming characters, which will lead into another topic here soon.
Yeah.
As far as the Springfield versus New York section, Springfield seems to have the slight advantage over New York, but it's close.
It's a bigger area. People miss that area having the chainsaw horde, so I figured it would be that one.
I didn't see any threes, unfortunately. I didn't see anybody wanting both.
Justin did say it. The one over in that Chicago, someone said Chicago area, might impede like that new bar that they've added in Sting Alley, which is true because when they had the Killer Clown section there, it did kind of go into that area. I don't know that they'd be able to really do that like they have the last 2 years.
Unless they flip it around where the entrance goes on the other side from New York
And it goes out into
that scare zone, yeah.
They had entrances on both sides last year, didn't they?
Last year when they had The Last of Us, it was the entrance on the Lagoon side, and you exited out into New York scare zone.
Oh, right,
Remember
right.
when we had Meets, we were
was the
from
other
that way,
side.
the other way around.
Yeah.
So just flip it around. I think logistic-wise, that would help more.
Honestly, that area was kind of a mess both times as far as like the line goes.
A little bit, yeah.
So
I mean, it's HHN.
put a scare zone in Sting Alley.
We've had that in the years past before, actually. We've had something like that. Also, Charles Yates is back for more vengeance with the $5 donation saying Springfield.
Nice.
Period. Actually, he didn't even put a period in. Just Springfield.
Just Springfield.
Horror Nights is the one that's been messaging periods all around.
Yeah, right.
So, moving on. Charles, thank you, by the way.
The next.
Let's get to the website.
Okay.
Let's get to the website. I want to talk about the website.
Cool. Now, I did see a comment. I did see a comment from Mr. Disney King way back when we were talking about this, just like briefly, about how like websites are kind of a thing of the past. They're kind of dead. And while I agree, I do also, what comes to my mind first and foremost is like, there have been so many movies, especially like smaller indie movies in the past 2-3 years that have done like a really great job at kind of that guerrilla marketing with, you know, using social media and a website by leaving Easter eggs and getting people to kind of like figure out. The first one that comes to mind is Beau is Afraid. I know people didn't love that movie, but
Because you're talking about recent, though, right?
what do you mean?
You're not talking about in general. You're talking about like recent histories. What you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
recent.
okay,
Because like they use social media to integrate it into the
Yeah,
website.
okay. I was thinking Cloverfield. That's like the
Where,
first one.
well, yeah,
But that was later. Yeah. Go
yeah,
ahead.
websites and
Yeah.
marketing doesn't work the way it did back then.
Yeah.
But
Shame.
like Beau is Afraid, they had like a social media page that was for like a specific company within the movie universe, and then that went to an Instagram page that then linked to a website, and then the website was all like themed to that. And I think that, you know, even though websites are not like the first point of contact for most people with brands anymore, I do think that they can be used to like in a really effective way, and especially to like get that interest and leave like Easter eggs and things like that for something like speculation season. So that's my spiel.
Kind of adding on to that. Websites are a thing of the past. I know we are advancing a lot in technology and society is changing. I don't know about you, but me personally, it doesn't seem that it's been changing all too great overall. So maybe going back wouldn't be too bad. Generally speaking, Halloween Horror Nights, I have said this for years, and I'll stick to this probably forever. I don't think that there is a more unique event that exists out there, especially tied to the theme parks, that has a community like Halloween Horror Nights. And what makes it so special is not just the event. It's not when you're actually there, but it's days like today. It's days like today when you have a community that gets together. I mean, we have 159 people who chose to have nothing else to do but sit here and watch two random people in their house being stared at by their dog talking about an event that is months away. A little exaggerating, but what I'm saying though is that this event has a community that thrives off of something we called speculation season and announcement season, and that we do all this types of conversations, we create all these theories, we do all this stuff because it's what we want to do. We are so passionate about this event that these moments build that excitement, it builds that hype, it builds that special bond that as a community we were able to create and grow together for this one event. So like doing something like the website is a fan service from Universal and from Horror Nights, and this is again my opinion, my perspective, that it creates this fan service that they acknowledge, like we know this community exists, and that we are going to put everything we can in making this off season, this time period that you guys call speculation and announcement season, we're going to put as much as we can into it to continuously build that excitement so that when you guys get to our gates, you guys are already maxed out with energy and excitement, ready to go, and we're going to deliver that. So when you walk out of there, it's like my God, like that, like all those months was worth it. It lived up to this moment.
Mm-hmm. And whenever we have these types of conversations, I feel like Brian talks about the things that like would be great for the fans, for us as guests and everything. And I have to come in and be like negative Nancy and say like
devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate.
I know that for Universal, first of all, building a website, and especially one that has that much interaction and is updated that consistently, is very time consuming and expensive.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. So I understand like that's something that they don't necessarily need to spend that time and money on. People are still going to go. They don't need to hype up the speculation season like they may have needed to, a decade ago or longer.
Absolutely.
They just don't need to do that anymore. But again, we're talking about things that we would like to see come back rather than...
Let me jump on that though. You said, and I agree with you, they don't need to, correct? But that's where I think is the opportunity for Universal to look at this, see the fans want it, and the company's going to be like, we don't need to do this. It's still going to work. That's exactly what I want to hear from the company. I want Universal to say, we don't need to do this, but guess what? We're going to do it anyways because we want to do it for the fans. That, to me, that's what gets me pumped up. That's what gets me going. That's what I'm like, yeah, I love you, Horror Nights. Thank you. I love you. Appreciate it. Yeah, cool. That's what I'm talking about, is the fact that I think we all can agree they don't need to do anything. They can legitimately come out here and say, hey, guess what? Dates, tickets, there it is. And that's all they give us. I'm still going to buy a ticket. Are you? You're still going to buy a ticket.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a ticket. I'm still going to go. Even if they don't give us any announcements, I'm still going to walk up in there and still be excited. And then seeing what it is, I'm going to be like, oh, Horror Nights. Yeah. I'm still going to be excited. But it's the fact that they know they don't need to do it, and they still choose to, and they show the reason why Universal outdoes every other entertainment company in the world, and they're getting better at it. So this is why I think the website's important. It's why we want it. This conversation we just had is basically towards the fan service of why we what we want it.
We want it because we like it, not because it's a good marketing strategy for Universal.
Well, hear me out though. What about the current website? We have chatted with you guys. If you guys remember in the Discord, I asked you guys in our Discord if you guys were there at the time. I asked you guys, what is it, if you want the website to come back, why, and what is it that you guys liked and all that kind of stuff. What do you guys think of the current one? And a lot of people, surprisingly, and I would have to agree with them, that the Horror Nights section on the current Universal website, and I'm speaking just for Orlando, I'm not speaking for any of the other locations, just Orlando, it's a little difficult to traverse through, because when you click on Halloween Horror Nights, it takes to another section. You go to tickets, it has to take you back to another section in Universal, and it's tied to the other events, ticketing and information. We've had a lot of people send us messages and complaining about the current way that it's set up. Whereas when we had a website specifically just for Halloween Horror Nights, everything was right there. Boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. And it was just easier. I know why Universal would want to merge everything. It makes sense. Overall, it's easier if you look at it from the entire perspective. But when you're looking at it just from the Horror Nights perspective, I feel like it's a huge downgrade and it makes it more complicated to process through.
Yeah, you also have to remember that, again, playing devil's advocate, you also have to remember that when they were doing these websites, commercials, maybe radio spots were like
absolutely
where their budget was going to, their marketing budget. Nowadays, it's going to paid ads on social media and things like that, where they just might not have the marketing budget to allocate towards a website. And it makes sense because they're probably not making that revenue back directly from the website. But again, that's why we're talking about, what we as fans and personally would like to see come back, not necessarily what we think is going to, or we think, is a good business decision for Universal. Just what we want to see personally. Also,
I just had like a noise.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was weird. It's like the lizard person inside me going, whatever. I would argue on the side it's a great business decision and marketing decision for Universal to do it. Of course, it's not cheap, but doing great things aren't cheap. Doing things that are right aren't usually the easier thing. I just think it's one of those fan services situations where it's just like they acknowledge and they're like, we're gonna go for it. And I just think it'd be really cool. I think it'd be unique for Horror Nights. I think it would I genuinely think that it would improve the overall rating of Halloween Horror Nights from the majority of people that go. I think it would improve it just because they have the website. I think the website enhances the event as a whole. And because of that, it's like we could argue saying because of this, more people are more willing to stay and go and spend more money on it just because of that.
Yeah.
But of course, if you were to do the research and stuff, it'd be hard to pinpoint how exactly it does it. I think it just really enhances the speculation and announcement season to have people consistently talking about Horror Nights year round like we do.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we have to remember too is that Horror Nights, the houses change every year. So the theme changes every year. So they have to rebuild a completely new website every single year. Whereas some of these other local haunts, home haunts, they have these really crazy websites and immersive things and stuff. But a lot of them aren't changing their theme or their
houses and contracts for intellectual properties that get placed on there.
Yeah, every single year. So yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm willing to do it. I'm sure
I can figure out how to build a website.
I can figure out how to get a team together to do that.
There we go.
And
if anybody knows how to build a website,
I can go out there. I can go out there and look for some people. You've built websites from scratch before, so we can figure it out as a team together and say, Horror Nights, don't worry about it. We'll do it. We'll do it. I don't even want a penny. I just want the ability to do it. I feel like it'd be cool fan service.
Yeah.
I want to bring up these two super chats real quick, and then I want to ask the fans the question. But we got a $4.99 from Tower Gal 13 said Universal Hollywood app has a spot for Nintendo to play. Maybe they can have an HHN spot for speculation and games trivia that you can see all year. That's actually a good idea, and that is something that we talked about in our. Oh my God, that was yesterday. In our video yesterday, we briefly talked about it, and we will talk about it more today. So hold on to that thought. I don't think we didn't talk about an all year one, but if you break down that, it extends. But we'll talk about it in a second. So we'll hold on to that. $4.99. Thank you, Tower Cow. I like the idea. She's on the right track. And then this Charles Yates is back again with a 25. We're about to cut this guy off. Heck yes, I look forward to this time of year. I bring 8 or more peeps with me every year from NC, North Carolina, by the way, if you guys don't know what NC is. Anyways, to enjoy what they put on for us. I agree. This is, when we get to August, you guys can look back. Do you hear that?
No. No.
I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm hearing some. But anyways, like I was saying, you guys can fact check me on this if you want. Every year around August, I always tell you guys, enjoy this moment. Enjoy these moments leading up to the event. Close your eyes. Don't listen. Go home. I always bring it up because to me, this is the most exciting time as we're all getting excited. We're all bonding. We're all speculating. What could it be? What could this be? And then when it gets announced, we're excited talking about it, the potential of it, until we finally get to go to the event and live it. Because what happens is you got people who, they come to the event one weekend and then that's it. They're done. And they walk out and the conversation starts dying. The conversation goes from, instead of being excited for the event, the conversation then goes to criticism and excitement about the event. You know, what was things you liked, what's things you didn't like, what could be fixed, all that kind of stuff. So the conversation changes, where this time, majority, I would say 95% of conversations are purely just about excitement for the upcoming event. So I agree. I think this is one of the best times for us. So Charles, another 25. Thank you, my man. Appreciate it. Don't let me see that name pop up again.
Cool. So
cool.
The other two sections are the original house announcements, and then
let's get into that right now.
Cute lines.
Let's get into the original house announcements because it comes a little bit of tied up with Evermore now. So remember that Evermore now or so.
Brian just says things sometimes, and then
majority of the time I don't know what to say.
Yeah. And then I'm like, what was that?
In one of our last video, actually it was the first video of the 3-part series.
Was it?
I think it was. When we were filming, there was one point where I was finishing up our conversation and I went Evermore now or so. And then I stopped and Steph was like, what?
He looked at me, he was like, did that make sense? And I was like, I don't know what you just said.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, let's redo that because I had no idea what that was. But anyways, let's get into the original house announcement. Actually, I don't even think I asked the poll. Can you put up a poll for the chat? Would you guys want to see the original Halloween Horror Nights website return? And I would be okay too if the website returns into the extent of just being very simple, not even doing anything crazy, kind of like what the current one on their Universal website is. I'd be okay with that. I really would. I just want a designated Horror Nights location separate from everything, where then if they wanted to really expand upon that, they can. So yeah, it's up in the chat. If you guys want to go ahead and vote now, will the website return, but do you guys want the website to return? Yes, please, or nah? Nah. My vote is with yes. But moving on to our next section, which ties in with the website to an extent, which is the return of original house announcements. For the past few years, we have gotten what is called the dump, if you will, the house dump. I hate that term, but
it's like how people on Instagram nowadays post 10 photos in a carousel at the end of the month and say March dump, and I'm like,
I hate that.
Why
word,
are we
dump.
saying that?
I don't like. To be honest, I don't like the word dump.
I don't either.
When I hear the word dump, I think of Hondo. And I'm not going to continue the rest of that statement.
You get it.
So yeah, you guys get it. Anyways, we get what is called the house dump, and it's really the event dump because it happens in August. And it's when Horror Nights is like, here's all the original houses, here's all the scare zones, here's the rest of the information. This is everything that's coming to the event. And it usually happens 3 weeks or so before the event. And to me, that's, we talked about the website being the speculation and announcement hype builder. The announcement dump is the killer, in my opinion. When we get something like that, where it's all these announcements, it's just, I apologize, Universal. Please don't hate me for this, but I see it as a little bit lazy, where it's just like, here's just the rest of it. And it's like, we used to have a time period where each original house used to have like their actual announcement. And it wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't. Some of it was a simple 30-second video. It was just, I remember, I specifically think of Scary Tales as far as a simplistic original house announcement. And the one that we had back in 2018 was a camera shot looking up into a storming sky that was circling ahead, and the camera was spinning, and you had the trees, everything was spinning, and text would pop up as the camera was going up into the sky, and then that's it. It said Scary Tales, and boom, that was it. Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, we get the vibe, we get the idea of what it's about.
Versus just a picture.
Yeah. And it's also not just posted all on the same day.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing is like, even if it is just a photo and a description, like let's spread it out a little bit.
Yes.
Instead of it just being all on one day. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know if they're like, for whatever reason, not allowed to release it until a certain time. But I just feel like having it all just like released all on one day, it does feel like they're just like, here you go.
It does feel like that, and it also kind of overshadows some of the other stuff. So like for instance, like you get 5 original houses that gets announced on one day. Some people might be talking about 2 very specifically. They're like, we're really excited for these 2. One of them might get just overlooked. Whereas if you give them their own days, as well as the scare zones and the shows, and you can even pair an original house announcement with an original scare zone.
Yeah.
You can do a pairing like that, but all of them all together, it feels like Christmas Day, which we love Christmas Day. However, this isn't Christmas, this is Halloween. So I wouldn't want to have those announcement dumps. I miss the original house announcements coming back. It gave the people a vibe of what to kind of expect with the house. It built more excitement, more hype, and something that I would say, which comes in handy with the website. I look back at the 2017 one. The creatives would actually, if you go back to the Halloween Horror Nights 2017 website, the creatives would put, little excerpts about what the houses were and little details in the backstory. And sometimes we'd even get behind the scenes photos of what some of the houses looked like. I remember the one from Fallen and Dead Waters, and I think I'm saying that right. Those 2 right. And you see some like insider, pics and things like that. It was really neat, and it was just cool, and it ties with that. And then on top of that, what I personally like to do when we're in this time period right now where there is nothing Halloween Horror Nights going on, and you're sitting at home and you're depressed, you're just sitting there with your HHN Blinky cup, and you're like, oh, I miss Horror Nights. What does people do majority of the time? They go on the YouTube and they look for old Halloween Horror Nights walkthroughs, videos, house announcements. That's what I do. And I like looking back at some of those original house announcements and just be like, man, you remember when this happened? Do you remember when people were talking about this? Do you remember experiencing this house? It's just a cool thing to look back on versus just an Instagram photo that you swipe through and just see. Yeah, cool. That's my take. That's what I said.
It's easier. They don't have to market HHN like they used to. People will go regardless.
I agree. But then that's when I start looking at it. It's like, okay, where do you draw the line? Because then they could just start doing that for the others, and it just continues until where's that line? So
the line is when they start losing money.
That's how companies, that's how they are. What's that poll, by the way, with the website?
84% yes.
Who said no?
Yeah, who said no?
I want to know who said no. Let me calm down real quick. Well, you didn't. Now I need to know after that. No more polls because of you guys. I want to know 1 in the chat or 2 in the chat. Do you guys prefer to see the original house announcements return? Give us a 1 in the chat. Or do you guys prefer to have the house dump, or the announcement dump as people call it, where they basically throw everything else out there for us? Let us know with a 2 for that one. And I know some of you might joke around and put a 2. I'm gonna ask if you guys can be as serious as you can. If you truly pick a 2, please write in the chat why. I want to know. I do want to know. I want to know why.
Southridge said 12.
Southridge can't count. That was okay. In the meantime, we also have Derek Morris celebrating their 10th super, by the way, on a live stream. Derek Morris with a $4.99 saying rumor right now is maybe an announcement tomorrow or Thursday. You think that as well? I do think, here's what I would say. And we're going to be getting into that pretty soon after we get through the rest of the changes. The 5 and dime has had some change on it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that does not look like a typical setup for the 5 and dime for anything. It's not going to be Mardi Gras. I don't see them coming out with a new line of classic Monsters stuff. I don't see a new line of the Bourne Stuntacular or regular Universal merchandise matching what we already see. I mean, there's like a chain link fence. There's a barrel and they're spray painted. Excuse me. I just don't see what that's going to go with. And then if you want to pinpoint at numbers and what things can mean, you know how Horror Nights is. There's a 33 little keychain medallion thing right there. It's 24 in the barrel, pointing at 2024, pointing at HHN 33. So I definitely think that if they're making that move and Horror Nights, they put 1 dot one day, 2 dots today, 3 dots. What does it mean? You know, we've completed the ellipses. I don't know what that means, but I do think that we should be getting something this week. If I had to put my money on it, I would say sometime this week. Just based on the changes that is currently going on from what we're hearing.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
It'll be interesting.
I'm going to go with Saturday while everybody's asleep.
Saturday.
Yes.
It was funny the last 2 years. It feels like everybody's like, oh, they always announce on Thursdays. And then it was like, never.
How did you do that?
They always announce on Thursdays.
Why? What does that remind me of? Oh, man. Oh, whatever. It's slipping my mind. Just continue what you were saying.
Isn't it the... And then they had me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No. I don't know. Just
I have to find
I don't know. Go ahead.
What was I saying?
Thursdays. They always announce on Thursdays, but for the past
the
few
last
years,
few years it's been like, oh, randomly on a Saturday, randomly on a Tuesday. So
you think Saturday?
no, I'm just saying like
What day do you think?
I'm not like expecting like one specific day of the week.
What day do you think this week?
I'll go with you and say Saturday.
So you do say Saturday.
I'm just agreeing with you.
Safe. How come you don't agree with me on anything else? You're going to read the chat instead of listen to what I just said.
I do. I always agree with you to just get you to shut up.
All right, cool. You see how she treats me, chat? Yeah, and then Mr. Disney King, how did Brian not talk about all the Creature from the Black Lagoon merch all over the 5 and dime display? You know, here's the thing. I did, and nobody listened. But that's fine. That's
When
okay.
did you say that?
I talked about it months ago. Nobody wanted to listen to me, but that's okay. Everybody called me crazy, actually.
What are you talking about?
We're moving on. So the next segment is enhancing the queue lines. Please,
Yeah.
please. Enhancing the queue lines. This was the most recent video that we did last night. If you guys haven't seen it, go see it if you want to. If not, we're going to talk about it. So you obviously don't have to see it. You can just listen to it right here. So, as my heartburn is reaching a max right now. In this segment, I think this is one of the most important as far as changes to happen within the event itself. And something that I think Horror Nights needs desperately.
Mm-hmm.
Something that affects all of us. Can you do me a favor and read off each bulleted point that we have written down under enhancing the queue lines? So everybody listen up. Steph's going to tell you the bulleted points that we have for it, and then we'll go over them more in detail with all of you.
Projectors going up earlier. More food and drink options in the queue lines.
Availability.
More storyline leading up to the houses.
This isn't mind writing, so it may not make sense. So sorry.
Well, yeah, I changed it a little bit because yours did not make sense.
It will never. Thank you.
Character appearances in the queue lines. Engaging game trivia / ranking on the mobile app. And then polls on screen in live time, which those are kind of together.
So we have 6 pieces. Let's just go hit them off in order. And we'll save the mobile part last with the polls and all that, because I think that one I want to talk about a lot.
Ooh, I like this one too. Like shade, or even like those little misty fans. Maybe I like them. I like them when it's really hot. I know you don't, but
I don't know.
or even just the big fans. See, the problem with that is these lines are not permanent, even like during the day. So it would be really hard to bring anything that is like a little bit more permanent or hard to move. It's hard to like bring it in and out every single day, because that area back there is for like parking, and I'm thinking specifically about sound stages.
Yeah, the sound stages, they're actively using that space right up until Horror Nights happens, and then backstage. I mean, I just where do you put that? The only place that works is I liked when they did for Blood Moon. They had the soundstage queue line where it's in that soundstage. That's nice.
I like that.
I like that. And then they had one for the Fast and Furious where it goes to the queue line. It also helps too, because it's hot during Horror Nights until the last few weeks. So it is nice to have kind of more shade and fans and stuff. It's just logistic wise, how could we make that possible? That's the question.
Yeah.
How can we make that more possible?
I think it'd be really difficult, honestly.
Miles, Menus, and Mysteries, by the way. Fright Club member for 9 months at this point, saying, you mean no NFTs while waiting? Maybe we can throw that in there, maybe. I know you're into that. Yeah, so let's go to the first one, which is projectors up. Right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, the projector's up early. We talked about this in the first video of the 3-part series. This is the one part that we really dove into for this bulleted sake. Projectors. I truly want to know, if anybody works for Universal and Halloween Horror Nights, I do want to know, excuse me, I do want to know, why are the projectors not up by opening night?
I would also love like some other way for the speakers to be like set up, because like
it's not loud in certain areas, and then it's so loud when
you're
you're
right next to it.
Yes.
It's like, could we put that somewhere else?
I do agree that the speaker placement needs just to be
But
tuned
again,
up.
it's one of those things where like, where do you put it? On top of the building, or I don't know.
I really have no idea. That one would be hard to really get into. But yeah, wait, why? Does anybody know the answer?
Javier said, I would guess due to the weather, because it's raining the first few weeks.
It can. I mean, here's the thing. It's hurricane season through October too. So it's like when they put it in October, you're still risking that. We had HHN 31. We had a hurricane come in October. So it's like,
yeah, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, is it really weather though? I don't think it's weather. I don't. I feel like there's other ways to go around it. And they could easily put some protective gear over the projectors.
Mm-hmm.
Why are the projectors not up on opening night? Why is it something that it's late September, early October, we finally get projectors up?
See,
I don't get it.
My theory to begin with was that it got busier in October, so they wanted like more, like something for people to look at while they're in line, because the lines are longer. But we see from like the last 2 years, September has been just as busy as October, if not busier.
I would argue that last year, last year's event, September felt busier than October.
But maybe they didn't predict that.
Well, of course, yeah.
But
I think it's to the point where Horror Nights every day for the entire run is just busy, like expected to be busy. So if that's the case, it's like.
And again, I mean, I feel like the theme of this entire live stream is they don't do XYZ because of cost. And while I understand that, they're bringing in more money than ever from guests. And I would really love to see not only the projectors up early, but something other than just like ads for their like Peacock shows or movies and ads for HHN in general on those projectors. I would love to see like something about the house that you're going into, or, you know, like Slaughter Cinema back in 2008.
I was like, please don't forget that. That's like your top. You can't forget.
I always get 28 and 29 mixed up.
Yeah. We can say 20 and 29 were 1 year because they're beautiful.
But they had a whole thing, and it was like each individual little property that was in Slaughter Cinema, they had a little video for it. Like, I would love to see something like that because it contributes to the storyline of the house, especially for the original houses where you might not fully know what the story is before you go into it. And you might be like, you know, walking through the house like, what is this even about? But if you have those videos beforehand, you can see what it's about. And then when you go in, it makes complete sense.
Like Graveyard Games was another one that had that as well. And it's for the places that can have projectors. Another thing they used to do when you would wait in, you guys remember the Shrek building? When you would wait in the Shrek building, they had the TVs and even ET. They would play like old HHN clips, just like old ones of years past. Like even put up, you know what, for the hell of it, just put up the Art of the Scare. Put that up on the projector. Have that running a few clips from Art of the Scare showing 2002 Halloween Horror Nights at Islands of Fear. Show people that, because there's some people, you got new guests all the time. Every year that comes to HHN, they could be standing there, they could be watching the projector and be like, what is that? Like, what? And like seeing a little bit of the history of Halloween Horror Nights, maybe seeing behind the scenes, like what they did with Peacock, where they had puppet theater, a little behind the scenes of all that. Put that up there as well, and show some older stuff as well as some original created stuff, which then ties into what? The original house announcements, which then ties and goes back to the website.
See, I think Derek is onto something. They said they want the queue lines miserable so that you buy Express.
Anyways.
Which I could see, but you know there are people that are not going to shell out for Express, wait in those miserable queue lines, and then be like, I'm never coming back.
And then dog the event. Exactly. Remember what our number one goal is here on the channel is for every guest that walks out of that event to be like, that was the coolest experience I've ever had. That is our goal.
That's what we would love, but we are not HHN.
No, of course. Like I said, it's a goal. It's a goal. I'd love for that to happen. It has never happened, and it probably never will. Can't make everybody happy. But that's the goal, and that's what we want. So it's like, you know, Horror Nights, work with us. Also, I want to bring this gentleman up, Jim Daniels. Gosh, Jim, been with us since the beginning. The 50, just dropped a 50 dono bomb saying HHN knows people will come. So do you really think they even care what people want? They make a killing already, so why invest more? I do. I'm going to answer real quick. I think they care about people. I do think they care. I just think that it's getting to the point where it's like, I don't think the creatives are in control as much as they used to be, where now it's more of the executives and it's more of the numbers and stuff that's playing a role, where it's like, if I ran a company and I had the option to spend $100,000 on one thing to serve the people who are going to come shop at my store, or not do that and still have the same amount of people come shop at my store, it's like, why would I spend $100,000
and then get to turn around to the shareholders and the CEO and say, I made more money.
There's more. Yeah, because of expenses and costs. You look at that. So I feel like they do care. I really do. It's
the creatives.
Yeah, it's just when it comes to big businesses like that, and you start crunching the numbers, you look at it as like, okay, where can we cut? Where can we lower spending and increase revenue and stuff?
I mean, unfortunately, big companies like this, they have people specifically, their job is to figure out like how to cut costs and how to make more money by, you know, increasing the bottom line by not spending as much. And those people aren't necessarily sitting there being like, those people aren't sitting there, you know, every day in their job thinking like, oh, but if we get rid of projectors, people like that'll suck. Like people would enjoy it so much more if they're just doing their job, you know?
I have a feeling, and I know Jim, by the way, member for 20 months in the Fright Club Legends. You know, I here's what I'm gonna say. I have a feeling, like I said, I don't think there's a single person that's within Universal that doesn't care about the fans. I know they all do. I've been lucky enough to talk with multiple team members in my past, and even gotten to work with Universal in years past as a scare actor and Mardi Gras performer. Did people know that? Yes. Surprise, Brian did do Mardi Gras. And it was always one of the best experiences I had from a working perspective, because the management team cared. They cared about you. They cared about the guest. They made sure the situation was always the best for the performer, so that the performer could give the best for the guest. It was a good relationship, and I do think that still exists with the company. I think they really do care, but I also think there is that understanding that we have that they also have, where it's like, we don't need to do it because people regardless are still going to come. People are still going to do this.
And on top of that, I feel like a lot of these changes that are maybe not so guest focused or experience, you know, they're not really thinking of that when they're taking those things away. I feel like a lot of those changes did happen after COVID. And
yes, the COVID effect.
What we saw from a lot of big companies is that during COVID, they got rid of a lot of people. And unfortunately, when things kind of got back to normal, a lot of these big businesses said like, well, we can still operate, the same way we've been operating, but now with less people. We don't have to pay as many people. So we also have to realize that maybe the team that's working on HHN is just not as big as it used to be, and they don't have the capacity to do all of these things that they used to do.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, Universal right now is expanding, I think, greater than they've ever expanded before. If you look at all the projects that Universal has, Epic, HHN Vegas, Texas location, talks about the UK, there is so much that is happening within Universal right now. There's so many changes and expansions that is currently going on for the company that it's just, there's not a lot of hands to be shared on specific things now. They have to like spread out in a way. And there's just a lot of internal changes. No, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down.
We're at an hour and 28.
Yeah, I was expecting him to show. Yeah, go lay down. What up, guys? Sorry, this is the Hondo hour. There you go. Just hang on, buddy. I'm just gonna explain this real quick. You coming over here and showing up, like, it doesn't stop the stream. Not today's stream. I'm sorry, buddy.
And think about how much money they're spending on Epic. They're probably like, we gotta really like tighten the purse strings.
By the way, how excited are we for Epic? God.
10 out of 10.
Dark Universe. I hope Universal just gives me a pass just to go to Dark Universe so I can just live there.
Live in there.
I just want to live there. Kind of just like lay down, find a bench, and just be like, this is it. This is my resting place. Yeah, so I think they care. I know they care. I know they care. It's just right now I think there's so many moving pieces. And real quick too, on our team, talking about our team and stuff, when we have so many projects between Steph and I, whether a lot of people don't know it, but Steph and I, we have like between each other 5 to 6 jobs. We work a lot, and it gets to the point where Steph has a lot of stuff she's got to do. I have a lot of stuff I got to do. And then there's stuff we both have to do with the channel. We start, valuing, what needs to be done. And it gets to the point where we like, I'm just gonna, this is personal information, take it as what it is, but it gets to the point where like we're so spread thin because of the things we're trying to do. Sometimes, we don't think that one or the other like cares about something specific, and it might lead to a little bit of not an argument, but kind of like heated moments and stuff where we're just trying to figure it out. I think the same thing goes for these companies too, where it's like you're spread out, You have all these things you're working on, and what you're valuing, somebody else is valuing another thing. So it just looks like they don't care, but they do. It's just they have a lot of things on their plate that they're trying to figure out personally. In this entire world, we all are focused and worried about ourselves and things we got to do, and everybody else has their own problems and stuff. So it goes hand in hand. But
anyway, that was
on.
only the first bullet under the Q lines. So
hold on. I'm gonna bring this this gentleman, Charles Yates.
Yeah.
Back at it again. Charles Yates with 15 saying, thing is, they spend $1 million a house, right? Now make fans happy and employees. I do think they make the employees happy. I know there's a lot of things going on, but like I said, when I worked there in the years past, like it was one of the most fun experiences I had. So
10 out of 10 would work for Universal again.
Yeah, I would always highly recommend it. But there are always things to work on. Always. Nothing's gonna ever be perfect.
Of course.
But Charles, we appreciate it, my man.
Thank you.
And another one, Charles. Come on.
That's it.
Charles.
The next section that we had for the queue lines was more food and drink options within the queue lines. They do have.
You say options. I'm gonna add the word that you're not saying in there. Availability as well. So options and availability. So having more available chances to get food and drink versus just like food and drink options. But yeah.
And especially like they have typically in some of the longer lines, they have like a bar cart and it'll have
a bar cart.
That it has like drinks.
Is that what it's called? Bar cart? Bar cart? I don't know why I was thinking of a different word for it.
You were thinking trolley.
Didn't I call it a trolley?
Yes.
That's what I call them trolleys. I don't know why. Like food trolleys and drink trolleys. I don't know where I got the terminology.
In Europe.
Anyways, bar cart.
Bar cart.
Out the bar cart. Hey, Boris, get in here.
Anyway,
right, go ahead.
So they have those, typically one in like some of the longer lines. We would love to see maybe like some food options.
Absolutely. So this is one that I wrote down when I was doing the script. I know a lot of people talked about this too, which was really cool when we were writing it. A lot of people on our Discord was discussing about it. We have some bar carts in certain areas, so it's like, okay, increase the amount. But on top of that, it would be really cool to have some food options.
It doesn't need to be, Mr. Disney King said it would be smelly and gross. It doesn't need to be like a burger. It could just be like popcorn. Yeah,
I'm not talking about like a food booth in the middle of a house queue. No. What I was leading up to was saying, you know, there are plenty of times where, and we get express, but there's times where we're waiting a few minutes and I'm like, man, I'd love to just have like a bite. And just right now, I just feel like just have a bite, get my energy up to go through the house. And of course, when it comes to food and drinks, you do deal with the issue of having no food or drinks when you go through the house. You know, they'll make you, dump the drinks and all that kind of stuff. So it's like where you position that logistically, that is something you have to decide. But also as the consumer, they'll spiel it. If you guys purchase this, let you guys know you're not allowed to go in the house with this. So you take that risk if you're going to buy it, and then just wait in line. If you don't finish it, you toss it, whatever. Of course, if it's a 5-minute wait, don't buy it. But if it's a 30-minute wait, I think that's perfectly fine. You guys remember when HHN did the blood bags, right? And they walked around with the blood bags and stuff. I think it'd be cool if they brought that back, but instead doing the drinks, the blood drinks and stuff, instead do like what you said, popcorn. Put popcorn, cotton candy, whatever those little easy consumable food items and stuff that they can do, quick purchases right there. And you have team members that kind of walk through multiple queue lines, and then they can have some stations if they want to, refill and all that. But you have multiple team members that walk through different queue lines, and what they have is what they got. So if you see it, hey, right over here, want one, boom, okay, move on, next. I think that'd be unique.
I do like this idea to introduce an easy to eat food, so like the popcorn or whatever, but that you can only buy in the queue line. So it's something like special.
Like limited thing, yeah. And even Shanna said, make them mini size. I agree. Like just a quick boom, grab and go. Like how like dipping dots or dibs are, like those little just containers, something small, like that size, where it's just like a handful just to get your energy going.
I will probably be the only person to say this, but I would love if they had there's like maybe 1 or 2 sections in the park that has this, but I would love to have this in the queue lines. The little like things of either pineapple or watermelon. Oh, like the little fruit things.
I agree with you. Yeah, like fruit cups.
I would love to have that.
I think fruit cups is something that you can add to that. too, you know, where they can just small little cooler that they kind of go along with their vodka and just boom. Yeah. Just, can I go ahead and get that fruit cup right there? $5.95. Perfect. Thank you. Boom.
Is that how it works?
That's it.
That's how you
it.
buy something.
That is no. That's how that whole situation would happen. So, in case, I mean, if you guys wanted to get behind the mind, you know, of horror here and how things like that would work, that's boom. I feel great. I'm ready to go through this house. There must have been something in that pineapple. I'm feeling loose. I don't know.
Actually, the pineapple is really good. They
They are.
They sell it with a little tahini packet. And like you can put the tahini on the pineapple and it's so good. Gotta try it. Anyway,
Fred said, "Sell hard liquor in the queue lines."
like those little like mini bottles. They just
People
sell those little mini
people are taking
bottles.
shots in the queue line right before they go in the house. Oh,
I don't know about that.
Man,
May have some flailing arms.
yeah, we also have double the security presence around the park.
Yeah. Now this is the one that. Are you ready to move on?
No. Why would you want to move on from a food topic?
This is the one that I think I would want the most.
I'm not done.
What else do you have to say?
More things about food.
Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to add on to your limited item idea that you talked about. Right? How cool would it be is if Horror Nights did a series of limited edition containers, whatever, right? One thing that comes to my mind is Chris does things here. I'm gonna bring up the other park, Disney. At Galaxy's Edge, they have the Coke
Bottle.
canisters, you know, those specific like grenade, thermite ones, like those, right? Horror Nights could create something like that, whether it's drinks or food, special little containers or whatever that are themed to the houses that you go through. So people might want to go and collect them all. It could be a collector's item and stuff that you can have special like popcorn bucket things or, you know, just in there, but they're little perishable things. Just something like that I think would be really cool to add for like, oh, I went through Stranger Things and I got the Stranger Things thing in the queue line and things like that. More
Like a
memorabilia.
popcorn bucket?
Not a popcorn bucket, because I think that becomes too chaotic in the purchasing process and having fresh popcorn. Because we even talked about it when we were scripting the video. They walk through with the popcorn buckets already loaded with popcorn. Could do that. But you get what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah.
I hate when you laugh because I don't know what it's about.
No,
And it makes me uncomfortable live in front of millions of people.
millions.
All of them. Stranger Things waffle, yes. Didn't they have that before? Didn't HHN 28 have in the queue line? It was a Stranger Things food themed. Am I tripping?
I don't think it
guys?
was in the queue line.
I thought it was in the queue line. Am I
No.
tripping out, guys?
I think it was just a booth.
HHN in a meeting with Brian would be like, "You're expensive thinking."
That's what I was laughing at. That's what I think all the time.
All the time. Yeah, Steph thinks of that all the time with all my ideas. But here's the thing. When we're thinking ideas, why not shoot for the stars? Don't settle on the moon when their stars are still further away. Like, go for the stars, baby. And then if you gotta reel me back and you say we gotta settle on the moon, I'm like, hey, at least we made it to the moon. Look down on everybody else.
Except that half the time you're like, well, then we're not doing it. We'll just wait until we can do the full thing.
highway. Yes, if I was ever in a meeting with Universal and Horror Nights about these ideas, I'm pretty sure they would look at me and be like, no. Next. And I'll be like, okay, what about this? No. Next. Okay, well, I got this idea. It's very, very simple compared to the others. They're like, no. Next. Okay, all right. I actually I have a book, and on my laptop, I have Google Documents of all these ideas and things I want to work on. So
Anyway,
they will never happen. And I just have to sit there and look at them and be like, in the arms of Brian.
maybe one day.
I don't think so.
We should probably move on to the next one.
Somebody said you sounded like Beetlejuice there. That was Hondo in the background. All right, moving on to the next segment. Let's go. Next
So
segment. We're moving on.
more storyline.
More. We want more.
More storyline leading up to the houses. Kind of like we had for Graveyard Games. like we have for Slaughter Cinema. We just want those back. Whether it is
Like more
on the
s-
projectors,
like more story-driven elements.
whether it's on the projectors, whether it's just music playing. I remember when they did the Trick or Treat house, they had playing the rules, like the rules for Halloween
Oh, that's I
or
never
for
got to experience that
trick
one.
or treating.
Really? That was for the parade building, right? So they had that like on the
It was
outside and stuff.
B79. Yeah, they just had in the speakers, they had like because in Trick or Treat, there's like the rules that you have to follow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I never got to do that one. So.
So things like that, just more of that.
Okay, so let me add this to you, right? When I wrote this down, I wasn't specifically talking about just that because that's at the entrance of the house. How do you spread that out through the queue lines? You have the projectors, obviously for like the sound stages and some of the other places. One of the places, no, go lay down. Did not call you. You still got 2 hours left. Go lay down. Go lay down. He does this because he tries to get our attention when we're not giving him attention, especially around this time of night. This is usually like he's already eaten. He's getting ready to go to bed. You're doing good, buddy. Just hang tight there. I promise I'll give you a treat bomb after this. But specifically, like one area that I think of that comes to mind is the old kid zone area. Like for instance, last year's Monsters Unmasked. Going through ET and just walking backstage there. Like, how can we enhance the story before you get to the house? And I always thought, you can put like signs, you can put the speakers like further throughout explaining more of the story. And one thing that we have that we were going to be getting to in a bullet point here soon too is like more character appearances potentially that enhances that story. The mobile device, that's going to also be talked about very soon as well to enhance it. But just some elements that, especially for the originals, just some elements that really get you more into the story of the house you're about to go through before you actually get into the house. Like, for instance, Dueling Dragons. When you were waiting in line for Dueling Dragons, there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing to give you the story for it. Which Discovery Universal did an incredible segment for Dueling Dragons. That one I've listened to a couple of times. I enjoyed that story. But if people who did not listen to that, you go in the queue line, there's nothing until you walked into the sound stage. When you turned in the sound stage, that is the first time when you actually got to start hearing the narrator talk, Merlin, and you get to hear that story. It'd be cool if that's more driven out through the queue line for more story in-depth stuff. I think that'd be really neat. And it would just add a little bit more so that people have the time to actually hear it and listen and like, okay, I'm getting the story. Okay, cool. And then you get the time to get in the house to really understand the purpose of it, what the story is, and then you can follow it through from start to finish.
Yep.
But yeah. I'm trying to read some comments here real quick, see if anybody's talking about that specifically.
And I feel like, I don't know what you talked about, but I feel like even depending on the
house,
the queue line and the logistics of it, even having maybe like little like signs that kind of tell the story.
Yeah, signs.
You know what I
go
mean?
to the queue. Yeah, we said that. Yeah,
You did.
yeah. But like what you're saying, just having kind of some signs that you can read, and even maybe speakers through the queue line even further up, narrating some of those signs in the story and stuff like that.
And I don't remember, but do they even have like, maybe they do. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly, but do they have a description of each of the houses on the app?
Yeah.
Like when you like click on it?
I think so, yeah.
So there's that, but
we talked about like, we're going to talk about the mobile device. We're going to talk about more scare actor appearances throughout it as well. But one thing I wanted to say too is I mentioned the Dueling Dragons segment, kind of explained that. How cool would it be if in certain queue lines, like this really works for the parade buildings and the sprung tents more than the sound stages. The sound stages would have to be different than the sprung tents, but the sprung tents are usually more original themed focus versus IPs. We usually get more originals out there. It'd be really cool if they even had the Discover Universal podcast that did the haunted tales segments for some of those houses and stuff, if they put it like through the queue line, put a speaker there that was explaining it, like for Oddfellow, like Oddfellow's out, they had a house, they had like a queue line, or in the queue line, they had speakers that is all linked together in a loop that is explaining the story of like Oddfellow in the past. So when you're standing there, you can hear the podcast kind of explaining that in the story of it, not just them talking about it, but the story of it.
Yeah.
You can hear that, and then proceeding to the house, knowing a bit of the backstory before you get into the house. Because us diehard fans, us and, you know, the weirdos of you guys watching right now, like, we listen to that stuff. We know that stuff. We get into speculation. We're the diehard fans. We know that stuff. But for the vast majority of the people who are just regular fans or first timers who may not know there's a Discover Universal podcast, who may not know there's history videos and things like that, or excerpts for the house descriptions,
or don't care enough to
don't even care enough to
research it.
just go on their own to search it. When they're in that queue line, listening to that, they're gonna have interest in it because it's like they're waiting, obviously. So that's something to do, which enhances the queue line. And then getting into the house, they would have a better understanding of some of these original creations. But like I said, I think that works better for the sprung tents versus.
I think it's needed
Soundstage.
more so for original houses, regardless of the location. I think it's necessary for more so for the original houses, whereas the IPs most of the time, like, we get what it's supposed to be. Like, just go watch the movie or whatever it is before you go. Most people have seen most of whatever they have there.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Also, this is the first comment I'm seeing when I'm looking at chat. Follow the House of Usher would be such a good house. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Let's. Oh, you have something you've read that you want to say? No, if you got something, go ahead. Go ahead. We still got another 2 hours to go, so I mean, take your time.
I was just gonna move on.
All right. How many bullet points did we just do so far for this segment? 3?
Yep.
So we're halfway through the enhancing the queue lines, and it gets better. It gets better. That's what I'm excited for.
So this one kind of goes into that last one. Kind of.
They all do.
It could, but it also could not. And it is just having character appearances. So it could, because you could have characters specifically for those houses that then it does help to kind of tell the story of what the house is going to be, because they can interact with you, kind of like share pieces of like what that house is. And but it also, depending on, you know, if there's an icon for the year like we had with Jack, it might not be necessary.
Hold that one. I'll go back to the one that you were just talking about. You actually just gave me an idea. Scare Actor Dining, back in HHN 31, we had the grandmother, the old lady, the mask maker, yes, for Fiesta de Chupacabra. She would kind of give you just a little bit of herself or whatever during Scare Actor Dining. But how cool would that be if she kind of made appearances through the queue line for her house, and kind of like talk or whatever and explain, give some storyline and all that stuff as you're going into the house. Something like that, I would say, is what you're kind of referencing to, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So something that, you know, is maybe a character that you're going to see in the house, and then they're kind of able to speak to you in a way that's in character to
like
what the house
directly
is
to
going
you
to
as
be.
well. Like
Yeah.
maybe even interact directly with the guest and multiple guests too, and do things like that. That'd be really neat.
Yeah. And even like if, you know, people down the way, like 5 people up from you is having an interaction, like it's something that you get to
Experience.
see.
And even if I'm like 50 people back and I see a Scare Actor and I see people like talking, blah, 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 I myself would be like, oh, what's going on? You know, I'm not thinking of the wait. And really, like, enhancing the queue, this whole segment that we're talking about is what we think would obviously make the queue lines better, would make them more fun, more engaging, but it's also to help that concrete jungle that you're kind of in when you're waiting for a house at HHN. It kind of helps get that weight off of your mind. Experiences to keep you involved and interactive with the event, where the weight is really never on your mind, and it just helps speed that time up for you so you can enjoy it. Because I feel like majority of the complaints that we get for Horror Nights, people send to us, is usually long waits, had to wait for things. Things were too long. It was too busy, had to wait. And I feel like if we go and try to knock some of those out with like the queue lines, I think it would limit those down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
And
then talk about the Jack one.
Well, to answer 2 questions.
Ooh, go. I forgot there was even a chat. I thought it was just you and me talking.
Fred asked, aren't the lines too narrow nowadays to accommodate characters? Where some sections of the lines, yes, like you're not necessarily going to have characters like in the middle of a huge like back and forth, but you could have them on the outsides, and everybody passes by that outside section at some point, so you can have them on the outsides.
There'll obviously be for specific areas that they can make them work.
Some lines might not be able to, but almost all of them have at least a section on the outside to walk through, because they have to have some way for, you know, the team members and potentially like emergency people to get through.
One of the houses that I can quickly think of that this will not work for is Darkest Steel. Where we had Darkest Steel last year, there's really nowhere in that queue space where we can have a character talk about specifically that house. I know you have another question, which I'm gonna briefly just kind of get into that Jack discussion, where if you guys remember back in HHN 30, Jack the Clown, icon of that year, roamed around the queue lines, different queue lines, and that section he could just be walking by and just kind of interact. And if you guys watched our last video that we just uploaded, I showed you guys that clip that I got with Jack. I was lucky enough to be there, me and stuff. We were walking by, going to Hill House. I got a whole video and a selfie with Jack, and that was so cool. I don't even remember what the wait was for that. I just remember we were just there and we saw him, and he walked by 3 different house queue lines. And everybody had their phones out. People were talking, engaging with them. That's where the focus was. So they can even do that for certain areas, like back there where the sprung tents are, where it's harder to have maybe specific characters. You just have one main character kind of walk by, because like I even said, if I was 50 people back and I see that, I'm doing this. Oh, what is it? You hear people cheering, hear people chanting. A lot of people do that with when the characters, like the characters, are leaving the house, and it takes your mind off of the way, and you're kind of, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? All right, what was the next question you wanted to answer, though?
Javier asked, like, do the queue lines matter for those who have Express? And I feel like it depends. When we have Express, like, no, we're not like standing in line for 2 hours, like, oh my God, like, get this over with. But there have been Express lines that take, 45 minutes. And even if it's only 10 minutes or 20 minutes, if there's something that adds to the entire experience, like, it's even better.
Here's what I'm gonna say. I have like a direct answer for that. You buy Express to skip the queue line.
Yeah.
So you're skipping those experiences. You get to experience them potentially, yeah, you will. But the reason why you're getting Express is to skip the queue line altogether. Like, you don't want to be waiting in that long line. Of course, there's times when we waited in Express queue lines for 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes. It depends. But you skip the queue line experience altogether because you are just wanting to get to the house without waiting. These enhancements are to help that queue line. The standby queue line is the main focus, and the people who are waiting 30, 40, 50, 60, 90, 120 minutes, it's to help that portion. But when you have the Express, you are deciding and you're making that agreement that I'm going to skip that because I want to get to the house. I don't want to wait in that. So those enhancements are to help those who are waiting, and they're stacked up all together, row by row by row. It's to help those people be able to enjoy the experience of waiting and that, making the decision of not getting Express. Whereas those who made the decision of getting Express, you're like, I'm choosing to skip that because I want to just get right to it. So that's what I would say to that.
Yep. Did you have any more about the characters?
I think we said what we needed to say about it.
Cool.
The next ones can go hand in hand with them all, but
yeah. So these next 2 kind of go together. And they are an engaging like game trivia / poll on the mobile app. And then the next one is polls on screen lifetime, so they're kind of the same.
It's a very separate bullet point too. We're gonna keep them separate, but they're kind of the same. But we're gonna keep them separate.
It's the same.
No, I kid you not. This live stream, and I hope we have 137 people watching. Shout out to all of you guys. This is the time to scoot up and listen. This is the part, and this is if you want to go. This is the point. This is the part for you to go if you want to go. This is it. This is what this live stream. This is what I was looking forward to the most with this live stream. Was these two parts. This is the one I think we're going to talk about the most. We're at 1 hour and 55 minutes. You can clock us on how long this part's going to take, because I want to talk with all of you guys about this. I want these ideas to be talked about. Stephanie, read that first bullet point out loud.
Sorry, I just took a sip.
No, that's okay. Take your time, baby.
Engaging game trivia ranking on the mobile app.
So if you guys watched our video that we posted last night. Yeah, over 24 hours now. If you guys watched that video, we talked about a trivia-like situation. In Universal and Halloween Horror Nights has done interactive game experiences on their mobile app. The one that I can remember that happened recently that I really loved was back in HHN 31 for Legends Collide, when you had choose your character, right? You had Dracula, Mummy, and Wolfman. You got to pick which team you wanted to be a part of and go do mini games in certain areas to capture in a command post. Yeah, anyways, Battlefront fans. You would capture that and see at the end of the night which monster reigned supreme over the others. And that was like an interactive game. Really loved that. The part of this is, and they can have more games like that. I think games like that's really fun. And I'm not a fan of being on your phone. I hate being on your phone, but this is the way society's going and technology. So it's like, okay, how can we enhance these experiences? Because people have to use their phone for certain experiences within the event and theme parks in general. As far as the trivia goes, it'd be really cool if you can create your own custom Halloween Horror Nights profile, and they have like avatars that you get to pick from. And it's like original characters and icons that they've had in years past. Let's say for me, right? Boom, Brian from Orlando, right? Daddy Drac, whatever I want my username to be. And I pick my icon, Dracula, like, yeah, Dracula. Or, oh, Fear, I want to pick Fear. Or Lil Boo, pick Lil Boo. And that's like my profile icon. And I can play these trivia games every night that I go, and it keeps track of my score, right? It scores you based on how fast you answer the question, whether you answer it right or you answer it wrong. If you answer it wrong, maybe you lose points or something like that to really have it like a race. And every night they can have a leaderboard to show you who's winning daily and who's winning for the event overall. So by the end of the event, you can have this entire leaderboard of seeing out of all nights of the event who is the #1 trivia master right now for Halloween Horror Nights. And it could be things based on that year, previous years. There's so much trivia. We do this with our channel in the community page. Mm-hmm. Are you waiting to say something?
No.
Okay. Yeah, monitor chat for me because I'm gonna be going on. So slow me down if I have to. Or if anybody also has like good ideas and points, please bring them up. I want to hear them. So like you can have this whole like interactive experience, and this is just trivia. We're just talking about trivia. You can have that leaderboard interactive, and then at the end of the run, they can have a what is it called? What is it? What am I thinking of? When you get first, second, and third, the podium, right? You can have a podium with those profiles at the end of the run. Who got first? Who got second? Who got third? And that could be like accolades and things they can hold on to their profile moving into years from years future and stuff. And it'd be really cool. And this is where the website comes back into play, where they hold that as archived information of like who was HHN 33's trivia master, and that name will go there engraved for the rest of history right there. The next year, the next profile, whoever gets first for that year. And they keep doing things like that. I think that'd be really cool as far as the trivia goes.
So just real quick, I'll let you keep going, but
appreciate it.
My issue with the one that they did with the monsters was like you had to go to certain locations, and it wasn't like necessarily in a scare zone or in a house or anything like that.
There were some random parts. Yeah.
There were like random ones, and like for me, I'm like, I don't really care to go over to this random area and play a game on my phone. Like, that's really not fun for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't come to HHN to go play Pokemon Go. So
Go ahead.
for me, that was my issue with that. I didn't participate in that. But I think that if it was specifically for while you're in a queue line, I would do it because I need to pass time.
Okay. Going back to the Legends Collide thing, I think that was geared to people who wanted to just play the game. That one day, remember when you went to take photos? That's all I did, and I had a blast. Obviously geared towards specific people. The trivia, though, however, could be at any point, anytime. Once you're in the park, you can partake in it. As long as you're in the park, you can partake in the trivia. So, like, if you want to, you can pull it up, and as long as it's going on, and this is the thing too, and this is actually going to bleed into some of the other things we have coming up too. The trivia is not going to be going on 24/7, where it's like, next question, answer it. Okay, next question, answer it. Only specific times where there be a trivia question, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if they have it on like the projectors where you can see the results and stuff like that.
That's in the future. We'll get into that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it bleeds into it. So we can have, the leaderboard set, and like I said, it goes back to the website, all that kind of stuff. Jumping ahead to what Stephanie was talking about with the projectors. Well, actually, I want to save that because that's the very last bullet. The next thing that I want to say, kind of a segue away from the trivia, another thing too, is I've noticed very recently, in the past few years, that house walkthrough counts has become a big thing. We even partaked in it last year, where we kept track of how many houses we walked through and all that. I don't remember what the count is off the top of my head right now.
Still have it on my phone.
But we took count. How many times did we go through a specific house? How many times did we go through all the houses combined? We know a lot of fans do this as well. It'd be really cool if Horror Nights were to be like, hey, let's hop on board, where you can scan on the mobile app a specific QR code like they had with the NFTs right at the entrance of the house, or like not right at the entrance, maybe just, a few feet, so people have the time to get their phones out and do all that, so they're not blocking the line and the flow going through the house. You can scan it, and when you scan it on your profile, it keeps count of each individual house, as well as that overall house count of you going through the houses for that year. So let's say this year, Universal Monsters Unmasked, right? We're going to go through Universal Monsters Unmasked. I'm about to go in. I scan the code. Boom. Then it goes to my phone. Monsters Unmasked one time, right? I was thinking of this too with Stephanie. I was like, oh, well, then you can just keep scanning that and try to read it. Once you scan it, it takes 5 to 10 minutes. Let's say 10 minutes. It'll take you about because a walkthrough, depending. It can take you about 5 minutes until it allows you to scan again. Like the timer goes on 5 minutes until you can scan again. By the time you go through a house, usually 2 to 3 minutes pass, right? And then you have to walk all the way around back in. By the time, even if there's no line, it takes about 5 minutes to come back and scan and go through the house. So they can, as soon as you scan it, you can't just scan it again. There's a timer on it to refresh for 5 minutes until you can rescan it for your access, so people aren't cheating. And every time you go through a house, you can keep scanning. It keeps count of how many times you go through a house, so that anybody can see the leaderboard rank again of how many times somebody has gone through houses for the entire event up to those points, and how many times per house. So like, for instance, Universal Classic Monsters Unmasked, who was the #1 person profile that went through that house that year? And then overall for the entire event, who went through the most house walkthroughs for the whole entire event? I think that'd be something that'd be very unique if HHN played into it, because I know a lot of people started doing that recently. We started doing it. I know some people who's like, I've been through 300 plus walkthroughs of the event. And I think you know who you are if you're listening, because I think they're here. But we know some people who they keep track of it. And there's people that's like, yeah, I've gone into Monsters Unmasked 100 times. I'm like, 100 times? Yeah, that's more than once a night. Yeah, we're talking 2-3 times a night. Yeah,
I will say that is a fairly small subset of people that go to HHN.
Absolutely. But it's, again, like that's more for like your hardcore fans. But that's what I'm saying. Like, recently I've noticed there's a lot of people who keeps track of how many times they go through a specific house and all the houses through the event. So it'd be cool if Horror Nights played into that a bit.
And again, I've seen a few comments about, the theme parks going towards more like using the phones. And we totally agree when there is a requirement to use your phone to do certain things. We do not agree with that. When it's you have to use your phone to do this, to whatever. You don't have the option.
Especially in years past when you didn't need the phone to do that.
Yeah, I feel like that should not be a thing. But to have the option to play a game in your app, like you don't have to if you don't want to.
To pass the time while waiting in line, like that's not a I'm not required to pull out my phone and scan this QR code to keep track how many times. I'm not required.
And I know when we've gone to HHN and we're in line for the houses, you see everybody standing there, not everybody, but most people our age, standing there just looking at their phones in their group of friends, not talking to each other because they're just looking at their phones. At least if it's, some sort of game, they can be like talking to each other about what's happening on the phone.
It's more interactiveness in the queues. I also think it'd be cool if like Universal, and we speak of Orlando, particularly with this. It'd be cool if they came out with their own app, the Halloween Horror Nights app, and you can click, and create your profile on it if Universal wanted to do something like that. And that's where all that stuff happens on the Universal Halloween Horror Nights app. And it would just be a way to interact with the queue lines and make the queue lines engaging. So you're killing time. You're not realizing that this 90-minute wait is 90 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh. It might make it feel like only 30 minutes. You're like, wow, okay, cool. We're moving along. And you're interacting with the projectors, which has more story-driven elements. Maybe some characters are around. You get the mobile app that you're maybe doing trivia. Oh, like a trivia question's up, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm scanning to go through the house. Like, there's all these different elements. And me and Steph, we're not really fans of the phone, like mobile devices being used at the theme parks. We really don't like it. But if they're headed that route, this would be a good way to use it in a positive way, in my opinion. And then moving forward, did I miss the super chat, by the way? I think, I wanted to bring this up too real quick before I move forward. Fun Guy Gamer, member for 19 months in the Fright Club. Never forget, Jack was a result of fear polls. Imagine if interactive polls shaped new icons or event themes for a future year. Absolutely. If you guys don't really know the story of how Jack came to be, they basically during the day they created this character named Jack, and they had him run around Universal. They even had him run around the city of Orlando and all that stuff just to see
if he was actually scary and people.
And resounding, absolutely yes. And guess what? Jack became an icon that we still know today. Which this kind of segues a little bit into what I'm about to get into, which is the one thing I would say would be the most exciting part for enhancing a queue line, and that is having live time polls for the queue lines on the projectors. This is why the projectors is a big factor for the queue lines in our opinion. If you have the projectors up, the projectors are one way for, and really when I talk about this, the one location that I think of that is not just vital but prime, it's like a prime spot for all of this to happen, is where Exorcist was last year, right in front of the Rip Ride Rocket sound, that stage area right there. You guys know what I'm talking about? That area is the prime spot for this. That would be the hub for all queue lines right there, because you have those two screens. You have those two screens up, and anybody walking by can see it, interact with it, but mainly for that queue line. If you got the projectors up, you have the screens running, you can do trivia. People can answer trivia as they're presented on the screen. And then you could do the original house announcements on there. You can do the little whatever they want to put on there, the Peacock promo stuff, things related to the event, throw that up there. And then you get into the live poll times, which then you can go ahead and have everybody go on their phone, and it's like a live poll pops up, blue, whatever makes a sound, and it's like vote for your favorite Halloween Horror Nights icon, and it's live tracking the poll. So like Jack, Chance, Caretaker, Usher, Director, Storyteller, Fear, Bloody Mary, whatever you want to pick, right? Let's say Jack and Fear. vote for them right now. Everybody goes on there. They go on the app. Boom. I vote for fear. You vote for fear. Somebody votes for Jack. And you see those bars move up in percentages. And do you guys remember Star Wars weekends at Hollywood Studios? One of my favorite events, and one thing I loved so much that they did is when people waited for shows to happen, they had screens all over the place that did live poll times. Like, who's your favorite Jedi? Obi-Wan, Luke, and you'd see people vote and all that. And there were so many times in the crowd when people were like 51%, 50%, people were like, oh, and then you see them grow and they come back. And there were so many moments that the entire audience is engaging in that. And you can see the countdown timer ticking until the poll stops, and people are voting and people are saying, oh, vote this, vote that. I feel like having an atmosphere like that, where throughout the night we have live timing for the polls and trivia and all that, would cause that queue line, that section, to be more engaging than it's ever been before. And it's something as simple as just having the projectors up with stuff on the screen that they currently already have in a loop. I think that'd be something unique to give the queue lines a purpose than just waiting in a concrete jungle for a house.
And remember, we're just talking about things that we think would be fun to see at the event. This is not necessarily like we're bringing these ideas to Universal and we need all of the kinks ironed out and we need to figure everything out about it. We're just having fun with talking about things that we think would be cool.
Wait, you're not doing that?
You know what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. That's kind of how this whole live stream has been. Like, just things we would love to see. So now's the time I want to ask you guys. I know you guys have been chatting in the chat, and I haven't been reading the chat. I'm sorry. But I would love to know from you guys, with all the stuff that we brought to the table as far as enhancing the queue lines, like, you know, would you guys add anything else to it? Do you guys like the ideas that we presented? Do you guys rather take away some of those things? Like, I'd love to see that. And if you can have the queue lines enhanced to be where you have an interactive trivia, you know, like a Halloween Horror Nights mobile app where you have interactive trivia that kept track of each person's profile scoring and ranking. At the end of the year, you get the ranking systems. That person's embedded in the Hall of Fame right there for that year. You get the house count, who had the most walkthroughs of this house. Boom, that person embedded in the Hall of Fame. And then even for that year, as far as like the polls, the lifetime polls, you can have questions like, which house this year is your favorite so far? And it puts all 10, and people just start voting so they can see what the fan favorited vote for house of the night goes. And then they can kind of see for the entire run which one got voted highest the most. And you can kind of see that and engage in. These are usually conversations we have within the community as the event's happening, after the event's happened. These are usually conversations we have that I think would be unique. So I'd love to know in the chat all those ideas that we brought up to the table. If Horror Nights were to do that, would you guys prefer to have that? Or do you guys prefer to have what we already have? 1 in the chat for enhancing the queue lines. 2 in the chat if you think it's fine the way it is. This is when I will fight somebody if they say 2. I got my hand on the trigger for banning. I will ban.
Yeah, and we've also talked about really wanting to see like live entertainment on the one stage. I always forget what that's called. The one by Rip Ride Rocket.
Yeah, Chris does things. Y'all don't even know what it was like to do HHN before phones were a thing. And I remember in 2014, this is how it was, but he said you'd walk clear across the park to hit up Reflections of Fear to learn that then and only then that the wait was 900 minutes.
Sounds fun.
And yeah.
Yeah, and remember, like, you don't have to participate if you don't want to. But we do notice that most people in line are looking at their phones anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Justin said too, because I would prefer to not have my hand on my phone the whole time. I'm the same way with you. Like, I hate being on my phone. I really do. I do not like being on my phone. But if I'm trying to find ways to give people more things to do while in the queue line, the mobile devices is one of the easiest things to access for people to do. Majority of people have them already. So that's something for people to do. The next thing is to have the projectors have other things. And here's the thing too, if you don't want to be on your phone, you're like, I don't want to be on my phone. That sounds terrible. When you have the projectors up showing the live poll times, you can see everybody else partaking in it, and you still feel involved in it because you're watching that. You can still see the trivia, and you can still answer amongst your group without needing to answer on the phone. You can just answer it and stuff, what you think it is, and interact with the audience around. You can hear people shout answers maybe. And then when you have the characters going about, that's just something for you to just enjoy as the time goes too.
Realistically, the people who would be doing these phone interactive things are probably the people that would be looking at their phone regardless.
Exactly.
And I saw a lot of people saying the phone batteries would die like so much, which would be an issue. But you guys know that they do have like portable chargers.
Yeah, and Universal could sell portable chargers at their park.
Yeah, I think.
Do they? Okay, real quick. Do you know, or does anybody know if Universal sells portable chargers in their parks? I feel like they do, right? Google, turn off.
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, Google just... That thing freaks me out.
Do they have fuel rods? I know Disney did, but they do have fuel rods. Yeah, so they do sell them. Yeah, it is more. Yeah, it is more money, but again, you don't have to use your phone.
I want to jump on that though. Oh, great. Now HHN's even more expensive. Let me jump on that. HHN is going to increase their ticket prices regardless, right? Last year, how many houses, how many scare zones, and how many shows did we get last year's stuff? You don't have to answer. It's okay. Fine. We had 10 houses.
I was like, it's too late.
5 scare zones, 1 show. And I kid you not, I feel like we had less food booths last year than we've had in years past. Maybe I'm wrong. What did we have the year before? 10 houses, 5 scare zones, 2 shows. So if you look at it from 31 to 32, we went from having more at 31 to having less. And we also had Scare Actor Dining at 31. We didn't have that at 32.
That's an added price though.
But it's offering more, right? I'm just saying more things, right? So 31 had more than 32. But I remember 32 costing more than 31 for admission and all those things to get in. So regardless, I know Horror Nights is going to increase their price, but I feel like at least for me to say it's worth it, we're already at a point where like we have 10 houses, 5 scare zones, and usually the number was 2 shows from 2019 on. We were really confident in the 2 shows. Excuse me. At least I feel like if the prices can continuously increase, I'd love to see where and why I can be like, well, at least they're adding these elements and these things to help offer this or that to enhance it. Okay, I can see why it's 10, 20 bucks, a little bit more. Whereas if it's just the same, and if not even less, and the price is going up, I'm like, now they're charging us more for exactly the same stuff that we had last time or even less. So I feel like at least with these little enhancements and elements like that, it could make it reasonable as to why the price is going up. The question is, how much will they raise the price if they were to do things like that? That does become a question.
Yeah.
So.
Well.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to add as far as the queue lines go?
Questions, comments, concerns?
Please leave them at the Dropbox at the front of the studio. I want to read some of the chat. Here's a chat. The HHN merchandise this year better be on point.
I don't know if they can beat last year's. It's pretty good.
We did like last year. I know some people didn't. I feel like when it comes to the merchandise, it's always split.
I think
like
Ryan was the only one that didn't.
I've met a couple people too, but
really,
yeah, there's a couple people that they were like, eh. I don't want to reveal names and stuff, but there was one specific group that I've talked with the past few years, and they said they did not like the past few years of merchandise. 30 they didn't like, 31 they didn't like, and 32 they didn't like. So I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you want me to
I really liked last year's, and that was probably the first year that I was like, I need to buy merchandise because I'm not a big like theme park t-shirt merchandise person. I don't own very many like t-shirts from like the theme parks or anything, even though that we live here. But like that came out and I was like, yes, that is something that I want to own. Because it wasn't like outright like theme park. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I really like last year's.
Yeah,
But
I think we're on the same page with that.
I have a feeling I won't feel that way about this year's.
We shall see. I don't know. Here's a question. If I think we're good moving on with changes that we want. I think there was some other stuff I can add in there and talk about. It is 2 hours and 20 minutes into the live stream. It's already 10:53 Eastern time. We have a video planned for you guys tomorrow. I don't know if that video is going to happen or not, depending on, you know, if we get an announcement tomorrow or Thursday, or even tonight. Like, could you imagine getting an announcement right now tonight?
I doubt that.
How would that be? Like crazy, huh? Also, there's blood all over my shoe. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Fake blood.
No, it's real. From a werewolf.
YouTube, it's fake.
It's
I want to
real.
get demonetized.
It's real. It's from my blood, sweat, and tears. Tomorrow we have a video that we have planned to film. We're doing a back-to-back Brian from Orlando Fright Club content, whatever you want to call it. But with that is the question of when do we think we're going to get an announcement? And we talked about it a little bit earlier, and I know we kind of talked about the Five and Dime having some changes to it. My question is, those changes happened on Monday, right? Monday, yesterday. Did anything change today as far as that setup? Does anybody know if anything got updated with that setup today? Also, Chris does things. Can y'all calm down with the post? I'm trying to slowly release my Vegas videos and I can't compete with the algorithm. This is the same guy who would complain, and I'm publicly calling you out, who would complain that we are not posting enough content. And here we are finally putting content out there, and now he's going to complain we're doing too much. I hope you realize that, sir. Yeah, it's the question of like, you know, if anything has changed. I don't know if anything has changed. So it's like, I'm wondering if tomorrow is the day, but then typically people would always say Thursdays. Thursdays are usually the announcements days, but past few years it hasn't been like that.
It's always on Thursdays.
I want to like make something merch wise of you doing that. It's always on Thursdays, and like I can see you in like an oversized hoodie with like dark shades and a cap backwards. HHN announcement. Always on Thursdays. I don't know. Should we do that? Jim Daniels all the way dropping in a 20 for the Hondo Snack Fund.
Thank you.
Thank
He
you.
appreciates it.
No,
He poked his head up.
he popped his head up. He just woke up. He's like, "What did you say? Is that a tweet bomb for me?" Soon, not yet. We're almost done, buddy. We're almost done. I promise. But yeah, I'm really excited. Like, I wonder what the announcement's going to be. More than likely, I anticipate it, of course, to be the dates and the tickets. That's usually always some of the first like announcements that we get. If you go back to past years, that has been the first announcement. Dates, tickets. We get like the slogan of the year, and then they've been doing this thing where they drop merchandise along with announcements. They've been doing that early, where you get early merchandise to look at it. And last year, if you guys remember, I think we got dates and tickets with the slogan. And it came with the See You in the Fog merch line that we got last year. So what I'm excited is during this announcement, whatever we get, if I feel like we're going to get merchandise, there's no reason why they would set the Five and Dime the way they did. If we do get merchandise, how's that going to look? I know you just said that you don't usually buy theme park merch. I'm the same way. But I can't help getting excited to see, especially for Halloween Horror Nights, what the theme park or what the event merch is going to be like.
Yeah, I'd be excited because it gives us an idea of it might give us an idea of like
The
what
vibe.
the vibe is for the
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
Which again, it might not, because like the See You in the Fog shirt was nothing like what we got.
Yeah, it's just very like generic,
So it might just be that.
which I'm cool with, like generic stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it would be. I feel like they could have done better, in my opinion. Also, I just what is going on? I hear this.
We
whole
got
thing.
2 super chats.
Oh my. Charles Yates is back. Charles is the last
Sir.
one. This is the last one with a 13 saying heads up announcement at 9:53 a.m. Friday.
We will keep our eyes and ears
Ooh.
peeled.
You putting $13 on for that? We should start like a Vegas bidding.
No,
When-
we're not allowed to do that on YouTube.
At Vegas. I'm saying Vegas.
Okay.
Do like a Vegas bidding where it's like, parlay where you're like, hey, where this day at this time, or do you think on this day? Do you think it's gonna be on a Tuesday or Thursday or a Monday, Wednesday or Friday? And like you can put your bids in, and
You do that.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. So Charles Yates, thanks for the 13 saying Friday, and Javier with the 5 jumping in saying it wouldn't happen, but I would love to see a one-night express ticket for those who buy the Ultimate Fear Pass. I actually do like that. I do like that idea where it's like you get to choose which night you want, because if you're buying the Ultimate Fear Pass, you get to choose one night as an express. Maybe if you were like, let's say you're like the top tiered annual pass holder or whatever, and you buy the Ultimate Fear Pass, they gift you as a bonus one night of express or something like that. That would be really cool. I could see that being cool, but I do also think that would be hard to implement, because then I feel like they would say, okay, you would need to choose and have a reservation for, but if they're doing it where it's just one night of express, I'm totally fine with that. And this kind of goes with that, the top tiered annual pass holders gets one night of HHN, a one night HHN ticket. And they said, we're requiring you to have a reservation for that. And I know some people were a little worried about it. That is totally fine. I think doing a reservation like that is fine, because it's basically them saying, hey, which day are you wanting to use that HHN ticket? That's it. Just so they know, because they sell out of tickets. They want to make sure they're not
I think
overbooking
that's
in a way.
fine.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
But anything else, absolutely not. We should not be having reservations to go to Horror Nights and all that stuff. We don't need that. But as far as like that one ticket you get as the top tiered annual pass holder for your HHN ticket, getting I think that's fine, because that's just basically saying that day is the day we plan to use it. That's fine with me. I get that.
Yeah.
So
Also, Chris is out here doing all of our marketing for us. He asked for the Discord link, so I dropped that in the chat. And then I saw a few chats back. He had mentioned the merch. So
what do you mean, this thing right here? The Fright Club shop?
if you want to plug that,
You know what's so
real
funny?
quick.
We do forget to promote ourselves.
We're really bad about that.
Yeah, we never promote ourselves. We promote HHN. Like, I'm just focused on HHN. I mean, like, truly, like, obviously, like, we got to make a living, and we truly appreciate the donations, everybody watching, everybody commenting, everybody leaving a like and engaging with us. Like, it does mean a lot. We do not ask anybody to spend a dime on us, but it does help, because this stuff isn't cheap. But this isn't the reason why we do this. We do this just, like, me personally, I just love to sit here and talk with you guys. Granted, I'm just talking with Stephanie and I'm looking at a camera. There is nobody else here besides.
Hondo.
And he is here. Hondo is here, but he's probably thinking we're just talking to him. Like, he's just like, Dave,
Like,
what? I don't understand this. Yeah, that's why he always looks at us so confused. Like, what are y'all doing? But I truly just love being here and doing this and having the opportunity. I heard him. Yeah. Just having the opportunity to do this. So obviously, all those donations, we truly appreciate it. Any purchase of the Fright Club shop goes to helping us. I mean, we're repping Fright Club merch. I got the hoodie on. I actually love this hoodie. You got the t-shirt on. The posters, HHN 31,
are both on there.
HHN 32. And I didn't want to say this, but I'm going to say it. The Nightmare Fuel line will be in production very soon. We do have a Nightmare Fuel I think just Nightmare Fuel in general poster
Mm-hmm.
that will be going on the shop pretty soon. We'll also have more merch related to that as well.
I'm also trying to figure out how to get that design on a blanket and both of these designs on t-shirts. We want to make sure that it's not just like a square and then the design. I need to go through the process of making it like proper.
Yeah, and I also have like exclusive like Fright Club member only merchandise too in mind, like hoodies that have you know, art down the sleeves and in the back, and it bleeds all over the, you know, the apparel item and stuff like that. So we have all these other ideas and stuff, but all that's in the works. All the purchases does go to helping the channel, of course, but it is not necessary. You guys just being here, chatting with us, that's all we like, because I enjoy this. I think this is fun. I love this, even though it's weird. I love it because y'all are a bunch of weirdos. That's why we do this. And we got exciting stuff to announce in the future for you guys too, for the channel. Yep. We have more announcements. It's like you can't think of any more announcements. Guess what? We have more announcements for the channel in the future that I think is gonna blow y'all's mind. The best is yet to come. So I know we talked about, we're going to talk about the Fast and Furious tent. Yeah, it's up. There you go. That's done. We talked about the construction. Yeah, okay. We'll do that for another time.
We don't have time.
Here's the question. Would you guys, I want to know, vote, maybe put a poll up, do a poll on this. If we get an announcement this week, would you guys like to have a live stream next week? Or do you want to stick to the bi-weekly right now? Because I don't currently have a plan for a live stream next week, but if we do get a live stream this week, depending on what it is, we might push to have a live stream next week, Tuesday.
Oh.
Poll, lifetime poll lady.
We have some merch requests for
okay, what we got?
the posters on postcards and then keychains.
Okay, we can look into that. Definitely can look into that. Postcard could be really cool. It'd be really cool if we can customize those. Yeah, if you guys like merch requests, go ahead. We'll take all the merch requests as possible. Just remember, it costs money to make the merch and to make the designs and all that stuff. So
yeah, I also have to have like, especially for like posters and stuff. I know we've got requests for like 28 and 29 and different characters and things. I have to have a good quality photo or multiple good quality photos to make a poster.
And let me jump in on this too. These posters here that Stephanie made, these are her photos. Like all those characters, every character that you see, these are Stephanie's photos. She took those photos of all those. She custom. That's 100% Steph's work.
Yeah, I would never like go on Google and like.
Yeah. Well, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Find a photo and then.
That's what I'm trying to say is that we're not just like using other people's art to make art. Like we want to make this 100% through us as much as possible.
Yeah.
And we weren't around taking photos in 28 and 29 and all that stuff. So like a lot of the stuff is the photos and videos that Steph and I captured that we'll put on as artwork. And we're then trying to custom draw certain things and stuff. It takes time. We want to give you guys quality stuff. Mm-hmm. We just wanted to drop this stuff now just because we thought it was cool. I personally wanted some Fright Club stuff, and it's because Stephanie made these posters. I was like, oh my gosh, like I need more.
Also, yes, so yeah. Javier, the Scorpio and the Pumpkin Witch or whatever. I don't know if it's Pumpkin Witch or Grimalkin. I asked her, she didn't know. So that is the same character.
Yeah.
Fright Club blanket, potentially.
Yeah, there will be potentially one down the road.
If I can get the
there's a lot. There's a lot in, let's call it production, but not, or let's just call it, there's a lot in conversation. Nothing greenlit yet, just because doing the shop thing was a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. But
it was.
Yeah. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, 2 hours 34 minutes in the live. What does the votes look like for the poll?
81% said next Tuesday.
And that's if we get it live, right? Or is that just in general?
An announcement.
That's if we get an. I mean, yeah. If we get an announcement.
Yeah, if we get an announcement.
If we don't get an announcement, more than likely we'll go to. Which, to be honest, I would put all the 37 pennies that I own on a bet that we would get an announcement this week. There's got to be. There's no way that they changed the 5 and dime for that. For what? Like, for nothing? For a week, 2 weeks waiting? And here's the thing. We're in April. Like, all right. Sorry, Hondo, no. But, like, it's time to, like, let's get some information out there, you know? Let's do it. Back in 29, HHN 29, which was 5 years ago technically, but 4 years of HHN time. We had the announcements and we had the dates and tickets back in December of 2018 for HHN 29. So, all right, let's get the ball rolling. You know, let's get to work. So,
Cool.
Anyways,
I'll riot if we don't get an announcement this week.
you'll be right behind us, leading the charge.
See, this is why, like, whenever, like, everybody in the community is like, we're getting an announcement this day, I'm like, I'm not gonna like believe it until I see it, because we've done that so many times where we've waited all day and we're like, come on.
And nothing happens.
And nothing happens.
And I start looking at the community a little different. I'm like, oh boy, y'all. It's okay to speculate, but I will say, for those out there who love posting leaks or love trying to stir it up, please don't. Let Horror Nights do the cooking. You're the chef. Let them cook.
Let him cook.
Yeah, let them cook. We'll have whatever's on the menu, but please don't ruin the experience. The one thing I was like talking with Steph about it is, like, imagine, you know, the people who like post leaks or information out there about, like, oh, I heard this is happening and stuff. And I get you have your conversations with your people. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but it's like, in my perspective, it's kind of like, oh, I'm going in to see this movie today, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. Like, don't spoil it. And then they come out and they're like, this is everything that happens. It's like, why? That's how I feel like it is. Where I'm like, just
About, like, leaks, not speculation, but just,
yeah, you can talk speculation
leaks.
stuff, but like leaks and stuff, like, hold that information. Just hold it. It does you no good. Hold on to it. Let Horror Nights do the work. Let them cook, and then when that's out there and stuff, just then you can talk about it, or prepare something in advance behind the scenes. Have something prepared so when it's announced, then you can drop it and have something a little more special than what other people could do. That's what I would say. And that's the tea at
It's
11. 11:10. Can we go? Can we get the midnight? I know I can get the midnight.
All right, you have fun. I'm gonna go.
Petition to have Stephanie stay till midnight.
No.
If we have, okay, I kid you not. If we have 4 different people just drop $100 bomb donations right now, you have to stay till midnight.
$400?
4 $100 donations from 4 different people. They just drop that right now. You have to stay till midnight.
I mean, yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
Wow, you would do that? You would accept $400 just to stay at midnight?
Yeah.
That's crazy. What if I
Would
just?
you?
What if I gave you $400 to stay here with me?
No.
How is that different?
Because, like, we're a team, so it's like
They're-
just transferring the
these-
$400
they're
from me
on
to you.
our-
We pay the same bills.
But they're on our team too. They're on our
they
team.
don't
as
pay
well.
my bills.
They do.
If they gave me $400, they would.
That's all your bills are? Wow. You live a nice life. Jeez. Hondo's vet bill the other day was like, yes, it was a lot. It was like 4 months of work.
Anyway, I don't think that's gonna happen. So
No,
let's.
hold up. Please don't do that. Nobody do that. Please. Please don't do that. I swear. If any of you, please, just don't do that. Don't do that. It was a joke. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is our Tuesday evening live stream talking about the changes that we want to come to Halloween Horror Nights following the 3-part series that we did this past week. As Hondo's tails thumping starts increasing and he starts whining over there, knowing the time is coming
Should we
up.
bring him in?
Are we? Here's the thing. I don't want to finish. I'm like, I want to keep going. Do we want to do a little? How about this? Put up in the poll. Put up in the chat. You don't have to do a poll. I just want to know in chat. For those of you that are part of the Discord, do you guys want to do a live stream Discord after party tonight? Do you want to do an after party? I don't mind doing an after party if you guys want.
Yeah, I think that's.
How about we do that? So if you guys want to, what we're going to do is we're going to be wrapping up tonight's live stream here. And if you guys want to continue the conversation with me over on Discord, we're going to be hosting a Discord live stream after party. We'll chat with you guys. I want to hear some of the ideas maybe you guys have as well for some enhancements and things like that for the event. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. I'm in. Yeah, we can do that. Javier also said, I hear Hondo wagging his tail. Yeah, he is.
He also said Steph is ready to go.
Yeah. It is late. We've been up all day. So if you guys haven't checked, the Discord link is in the description of the live stream. Steph, could you go ahead and put it up one more time in the chat as well? If you guys can see it, it's going to be up in the chat as well. Eventually on my side, I'll see it, but I know you got it up on your side, right? And Hondo's going to come over here to sign us off. Whoa. He's like, yes, please. I need attention. I need attention. Oh, I love you. He's been such a good dog.
Yeah.
Like, this dude has been such a... The light, that's fine. He's been such a good dog. And also a stinky boy. He's been a stinky boy. Don't have him roll, though, into this. Yeah. Okay. Sit down. Sit. Just sit. No, okay. No, get up. Okay, sit. Stay. Calm yourself, sir. Just calm yourself.
We don't have like the table where he could jump
Stay.
up on the table and look at the camera.
Stay. You're a good doggy. Just stay. Okay, we're about to finish. But anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for us in Tuesday's evening live stream, talking about the changes we want to make and wrapping that series up, as well as the potential house announcement that we might get this week, as we have a Titan in our midst right now. Ooh, a little booty wiggle. All right, calm down. Let's make sure that we get all these equipments good and going before he... Okay. All right, go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down. We're coming to get you. Hold up, buddy. We've already had technical issues before the live stream started. Let's make sure we finish strong at least. But I want to thank all of you guys. Oh, Javier, by the way, with the 5 real quick, said, due to the real estate market delaying you guys last year, will this be the year for the HHN 28 versus 29 live stream?
Maybe.
Absolutely, my friend. This will be the year for it. Trust me. Trust me, this is going to be the year. We have some, I have some really exciting things that we have planned for you guys. And just like I said in the Discord too, we have somebody that came on board to help us out as well. A new member of the team that did today's live stream intro, which was fantastic. Somebody that I've been following for years and really excited to have a part of the team. We actually have a whole bunch of stuff that we're working on with this gentleman, me and Sal. If you guys know Sal Crescenti, I always get this wrong. Pick 330, something like that. 30. I always get your username wrong. But Sal and we've been working with this guy, and he was able to help us, and he's got this live stream intro, which it's sick. It looks so cool. But we have a lot more too in the creations with it, and stuff that we think you guys are going to really, really dig in the coming weeks and months. So it'll all involve in that. So that definitely will happen. But I want to thank all of you guys for joining us in tonight's live stream. To our man who worked on the live stream intro, thank you for that. I don't know if he wants it public. I mean, I can make it public. Mr. Daniel Childs, our gentleman there, huge help. Check him out on Instagram, Daniel Childs. He's got some really cool stuff you guys can check out there, as well as some work he did on YouTube. But that's going to do it for us in tonight. Appreciate you guys joining us. And I guess I'll be seeing you guys. I don't think Steph's going to be there, but I think I'll be seeing you guys very soon in that Discord live stream after party. So with that being said, that's going to be it for us in tonight's live stream. Until the next one, we look forward to seeing you guys there. And very soon, we'll see you guys tomorrow for a video.
See you in the fog. Bye.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the peace out. I go,
No.
bye.
Oh, peace out, everybody.
Bye. All right, we're done. Good night.